to modern schemes, unraveling truths and chasing dreams. With every word she lights the scene. BX's voice where it all gleams. BX the storyteller, bringing the spark, no one does it better. BX, you've heard the rest, but she's the best, yeah, she's the best.
Rich Rising, self-made. Thank you. It's officially Women's Month. Well, Women's History Month. So, of course, we put our spin on it. And my theme is still destroying the narrative of Tetherville. But I'm doing Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, also famously known as the Black Swan. So, I'm going to try to sit here for a little while and see if I get a panel going. If not, I'll read off the details of her life and where she was instrumental. And although she was born, I believe, in Philadelphia, she does have a strong New York connection as far as her career and stuff. So it'd be pretty cool to hear about her. Philly and New York does have a relationship that many may not know about. Thank you. Self-made says it sounds good. So we do know Cornbread is from Philly. He created graffiti, tagging, all of that good stuff there, right? Mary Lee Dudley was the first to use the 2 turntables, and she had her own radio programming out in Philly, if not mistaken. And that was in the 1940s. So when we talk about hip-hop, the use of 2 turntables, graffiti, that actually comes from Philly FBA. So, gotta debunk all those narratives because who hurt isn't the father of anything, but hosting one party. So, Boston's in the house, huh? Boston B. Wilson. I don't know what this co-host thing is, or if I could turn it off. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about her. I have Sarah J. Thompson, or Tompkins, tomorrow. She was born in Brooklyn, New York. And tomorrow might be a special day because I have somebody coming by to bring the woman that they want to spotlight. And they may not necessarily be from New York because the person who's coming isn't from New York, and I said they could pick any demographic as long as they're foundational Black American. Good morning, Big Doe. It's officially Women's History Month, so I had to put our spin on it. But Sister Keita, she did say that we were doing Black American women and we weren't leaving out the men. So I put up some details on ancestor, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, and we're going to find out if she was married, had children, and what her family life was like as well. So, yes, all will be celebrated. I'm just trying to see if I get a panel going, or at least a panelist to come sit with us. And Simon's somewhere running around. The Black American House is up. And I think Basic is up too, but I have the big troll pages blocked. So if they feel like joining certain pages, I wouldn't even know they're on those panels until they tell me. There goes Drag. Hi, Drag. Request up, please. I feel like I'm at a party by myself. Good morning, Rich Rising. Well, I was talking to people, but I mean, on the stage by myself. I like duets today. I don't need a solo. Have you done any homework on California? Because popping, locking, robotics credited to California. No, I haven't. And thank you for bringing that to my attention. Self-made. Good morning, Rich Rising.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So it is officially Women's History Month, correct?
Yes. I forgot, but I know now.
If you want to do a quick Google, or if you want to wait for tomorrow, I'm supposed to have a special type of panel tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a special guest.
Okay.
With their choice of a Black American woman they would like to spotlight.
Oh, okay. Now, give me just a second. I'm gonna have to go on mute. I gotta do something real fast. I got my hands full.
No problem.
All right. Good morning, Eastside. Thank you for the heart meet. It's officially Women's History Month. So today we're speaking on Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield. Even though she is not from New York, she is from Philly, but she had a strong presence in New York for her career. I think women's suffrage and things like that. So we're going to dig a little deeper into her history. Good morning, DeCusso. We're not leaving out Black American men. So if she was married, we'll look into that. And I do have some topics up there if you could read the banner. Good morning, Cousin Skeeter. If you have a Black American woman you would like to spotlight, come up on the panel. So that'll be my theme throughout the course of the month of March. I celebrate Black History all year. I do spotlights. If you look at my page, they're like little burgundy size of a prompt post, and they spotlight different Black American historical figures. So I did have Frances Cress Welsing, but I decided not to do her today. Grand Rich Rising, Black American Family, BX, that's for this safe space. Thank you, DeCusso. Don't forget to do y'all daily heart meets. Oh, you said thanks for this safe space. Yeah, no problem. So this is, my theme, my running theme is destroying the narrative of Tetherville. I'm trying to show that New York wasn't built by immigrants, right? The foundation, the economy, we did that. Our ancestors did that.
The culture here in New York, we did that too. The civil rights movement, the protests, and even though the Mayo people mess up the protests, and I got to give it to the Haitians too, they mess up protests. Their protests looked a little weak to me the last time I saw one from them. Um, Black Americans have a rich, deep history here in New York. A lot of our history is hidden. Why? I don't know. And I got to shout out Sister Keisha of Thorough Black Talk Worldview. She literally sends me resources. And sometimes I pass those resources along. Drag could be a testament to that. Just for the fresh eyes, right? Because sometimes I'll be in here cussing y'all. I just be like, what the blah, 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 blah. And that's why it's taking me so long to get this Yvette Clarke piece out. Because I kind of want to make it more professional. I did do it where I was like cracking little corny jokes and stuff like that. Like I was reading something about the funding she was getting for the Caribbean and the Haitians. And I was like, well, is she gonna buy them beaches back? You know, shit like that. And I kind of want to make it a little bit more serious, but it'll let you know the testament of me that I be. The jokes just write themselves in my head, and sometimes they shouldn't pass my lips, you know, out into the airways where y'all can hear it. But for the most part, y'all get where I'm going with it. So some of the topics are still divided by gender, WARS. I ran up on a panel. Well, I didn't run up on the panel. I was scrolling. And there was a Haitian hosting the panel about single women on TikTok. But the panelist was talking about black men this, black men that, with, you could really hear their accents. And then people's Haitian, I don't want to say favorite, but the Haitian that's being talked about, besides that DOG character, Chadazo, I think is his name, he ran up on the panel and had something to say. And it was just a lot of black men, black women, black community, black this, black that. And I'm looking at a Haitian flag for the host saying, they ain't the black community, you know. So, I kind of wanted to touch on that. I think for the most part, those hosting panels like that, besides the red pill, blue pill people, are the immigrant class. Also, a reminder, Representatives Yvette Clarke, AOC, and many more Dem seats are up for re-election. We got to go to the great elder, the great ancestor, or divine honors to Malcolm X, ballot or the bullet. And for us, because he wanted, what that whole speech was about, was us being politically strategic. That's what I remember, politically strategic. So in this day and time, and I always say this, we can take what worked from our activists of yesterday and bring it to the forefront. We could leave what didn't work in the past. I ain't going to say throw it out, because they did what they felt was right for their people. And those who had regrets, we do know, voiced those regrets or concerns at the time. I'm going to say concerns. So for us, when we say ballot or the bullet, that should be, are we going to sit it out? I would like to remind people, me personally, this is my suggestion to everybody. This is a time we cannot sit it out, state and local. We have numerous governors in sanctuary cities that's up for re-election that should really be voted out. We also have people on caucuses, because AOC, I believe, is on a Hispanic caucus, but Yvette Clarke is on numerous caucuses. One is the CBC. There's no way to disband those caucuses, right? But if they can't have a seat, then they can't have a member, a chair on the caucus. So for me, I'm going to say, we can't sit it out. And if you don't want to deal with the polling sites, because they're in a school or something where there's a lot of people, and I can only imagine, because I know New York, where it is like what it's like in other places. And sometimes people get frustrated in New York. So you'll find people either go really late or they'll go really early. That was my strategy before. Oh, let me be one of the last ones in. Oh, let me be one of the first ones in. But then I found out I could vote by mail. So there should never be no excuse during this time when we have over 400 Democrats, I believe, up for re-election. And even if it ain't over 400 Democrats, Yvette Clarke and AOC are up for re-election. Why would anybody sit that out? Especially if you're in New York. Both of them are tethers. Well, you got one tether and one culture vulture. Thank you, D. Good morning, Rich Rising, Rich Rising. I see Simon. I see D. I saw the Cuzzle and Dred is on the panel. And Eastside in the room with me. Sometimes I'm really corny and I try to rhyme. I got bars in my mind. So, for me, ballot or the bullet, i.e. sit it out, vote by mail ballot, or go to the polling site. I got some suggestions for everybody. We cannot sit it out. I'm not really going to fight with you, but I'm going to give you some reminders. Yvette Clarke, AOC, both from New York City, both Democrats, both on caucuses, both detrimental to our ethnic group, both contribute to our erasure ethnocide. So we cannot sit it out, and if you don't want to go to the polling sites, you could vote by mail ballot. And I heard March has this month. Good morning. I see Gone World has entered the chat with us. No need to fuss. Okay, take a mic and what? And the ancestors we trust. All right. Okay, I won't be that corny. But come on, y'all. Seriously. And Yvette Clarke and AOC are not only, you laughing, D? Look, I be trying. Oh, I got some tips for you for prompts. Because I don't like when people come, and I be getting mistakes on mine too. But if you pay for Gemini, right? But you go to Google on the same account that you pay for Gemini and tell Google AI mode to create your graphic, this is what you get. Now this look a hell of a lot better than what I've been doing, and there is no misspelled words. You can't overload it though. So like I did the banner first. I said, give me a red banner with gold lettering and say XYZ. Then I had them put her name on the prompt. And I also, you're welcome. I gotta share some secrets with you guys. Come on, Shadow Band, come join my panel, Rich Rising, Rich Rising. I have some topics. It is officially Women's History Month. So we're doing foundational Black American women, and I'm trying to I am destroying the narrative of Tetherville. What does that mean, BX? That means I'm showing that New York was not built by immigrants, that throughout all periods of this nation, even before New York was New York, foundational Black Americans had a hand in everything, from civil rights, women's suffrage, abolition, Underground Railroad, music. I found the music genres we created because that was a secret. We had some of the most, oh my God, beautiful abolitionists, to the fact that some slave catchers from the South were saying how much they disliked the abolitionists in the North. And they wasn't talking about the white tea ones either. Yes, and I put my panels up on YouTube. And I had a rant or two over there. You know, I went live and ranted for about 30 minutes over there. I think I took one down. But so that's my themes, my running themes, because Black history, Black American history is 365. So yes, we celebrated Black History Month, the official month. This is Women's History Month, but we're doing foundational Black American History Month. And I'm destroying the narrative of Tetherville. So this lady, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, our great ancestor, is from Philadelphia. She is a Philadelphian. However, she had a career and a presence here in New York. She was She was a woman suffrage, that's a women's movement. Sojourner Truth was very instrumental in that. She also was a writer, as you could see, and you could also see she wrote, she was instrumental in music. She's known as the Black Swan. And I do have, details about her. But if y'all know of any Black American woman that you would like to come up and talk about, you can. Or you could join the panel like tomorrow because I'm supposed to have somebody, special join. Special to me. Hopefully they're special to you too because they definitely stomped the yard for the lineage. She was born in 1817 and she transitioned in 1876. I have the details about her pulled up on my computer, but I also have topics still divided by gender WARs because I scrolled up on a panel. A Haitian lady was hosting a panel talking about single women on TikTok. But it was the Black community this, Black community that, Black community this from her panelists who we do know at least two were not Black American, but one who wasn't Black American had Black community this and Black men that and Black women this. And I was just like, really? But I took a screen recording because sometimes I do that and I give the screen recordings to people who I feel would be better to tackle the topic because I get the cussing when I do my videos, y'all. I literally do. I really do. I might have to go live and talk about Yvette Clarke, like read off all the information and then upload it to YouTube because this is the only thing that stops me from cussing. I'd be so upset. But let me pull up some more things until Drag get back. Oh, I didn't finish reading all the topics, right? So I was just saying that Yvette Clarke, AOC, Shadow Band said keep cussing. Good morning, Lady Bird. So I also wanted everybody to know Yvette Clarke, AOC, their seats are up for re-election. We have numerous governors in sanctuary cities that are also up for re-election. There's nobody who's not up for re-election for I think it's the Senate. But even though AOC and Yvette Clarke are over districts in New York, they are also like your assembly person. They're on the CBC. They're on a lot of things, and they both contribute to our ethnocide. So it's important to vote them out. Now, I know some people like to sit out, oh, it's the white teammates process, voting doesn't work anyway. I got to tell you, there's no way to disband those caucus but to get them out their seats. So I went to the great ancestor, right? Malcolm X, ballot or the bullet. In short, Malcolm was saying we have to be politically strategic. So I do always say that we take what worked from the ancestors and leave behind what didn't and apply it to today's time. So what would ballot or the bullet look like for us? Would we sit it out, vote by mail, or go to the polling site? So I got an easy fix. We cannot sit it out. We just can't. Not if you're in places like New York, Washington, Cali, I'm going to say Chicago. Philly has stepped up and got flip Philly red or Philly flips red. So they're taking a cue from Chicago. They are frustrated. They have been talking to their legislators, like, why haven't y'all been mentioning Dakara Thompson? Yeah, go ahead. But you're mentioning all these immigrants. Go ahead, Shadow Band.
Hey yo, instead of why not just run? Like you could run for different things. It don't require nothing to run. You know that, right?
Yeah, I look for uncontested seats in New York. I don't think there are none. There are like Jamaican people running for this and that. I even thought about moving like to Georgia to get a seat. But that's all it was a thought.
Nah, we need you in New York. Like, think about it. These immigrants come here in one generation, right, with no qualifications. Even like in California, they got P-files running for different positions, mayors and aldermen. You can run for all these positions uncontested because all you need is to be a citizen. That's the only requirement.
In New York too? New York.
Hell yeah. Nah, everywhere it's the same thing. I looked it up. Yes, you should run and start campaigning. Look, you're good at research. We'll support you. I'm from Connecticut. I'll come up there. I can bring at least 50 niggas with me. You know what I'm saying? We can motivate. I got a podcast. So this summer, I'm opening my podcast to a panel. I'm in Connecticut. I'm off the I-95. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have guests this time. You know what I mean? Nigga, let's politic it. Like, why not, instead of us voting, why not start running? Like, we need to run more instead of just participating in the voting. Nah. Let's run and make our own campaigns.
Yeah. Okay, so what seats are available in New York? Do you know?
Now I look into it, but right now it's just an idea. It just came to my mind. Like, I know I look for qualifications, and it's just like, oh, you gotta be a citizen. You can even be a criminal. None of that matters. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And you could be you don't gotta be a real citizen. Like, you could be like a naturalized citizen. You could run only here for a certain amount of years, like 7 years. See what I'm saying? You've been here all your life.
Yeah.
Like, it's time for us to start, like back in Wilmington, right? But like before, like, what was that, 1878, 1898, where we was just running. We had a bunch of seats in America before. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everybody ran us off, but nothing stopping us now from running. That's what I'm saying. Like, when I get time to get off the road, I'm gonna run in my city. Like, why not? I know everybody know me. I'm a good quality dude. You know what I'm saying? We should all start running.
Yeah. All right, well, you look up my information in New York while I do my regular stuff here, because I don't want to get frustrated. You say, BX, this the seat you want to run for. And I say, all right, just what you said, bet. So I'll be willing to do it. I would be willing to do it. Why not? Got to put my action where my mouth is, right? Because I'll be saying, I want action. So I got to be the change I want to see.
Yeah, or team up with Brooke, you know what I'm saying? You know, Brooke down there too. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah,
I was telling her to run for public advocate against Jermaine Williams. But she's really focused on the reparations. So that's something that she has to decide that she would want to do. She would be a good fit. Now, the seed is out there. Let's see how she nurtures it. And that was my ballot or the bullet. Sit it out, vote by mail, go to the polling sites. Yours is saying, go ahead and no, you don't have to be quiet. Shadow Band, yours is saying, when we talk about ballot or the bullet, you're like, F voting, be the person to get voted for or voted on. Correct? Yes. Okay. What else I had? I told you about the Haitian. I ran up on a panel. Well, scrolled up and saw a panel, and it was a lot of black community this, black community that, and you could tell at least 2 were visible immigrants. Do you find that it's primarily them when they say black men don't do this, black women don't do that? Do you see a lot of those panels from non-FBA, non-black American platforms?
Who you asking? You asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you because Dred is on mute for a minute.
Oh yeah, so I be blocking them panels though, because I know the distinction is always immigrants. Like, they say the black community, right? Most black communities didn't have immigrants in them. Like, that's only like New York, Florida. A few places only had immigrants. I ain't grow up with no immigrants until I got to high school. You know what I'm saying? So they're not in my community at all. Like, they ain't in my grandfather's community at all, or my grandma. That doesn't exist really outside a few states. So they ain't part of my community at all. I don't consider nobody that's an immigrant or foreign part of my community.
So tell me, because I know you in and out of these rooms. As soon as when you be up there, I'll be like, please let him go first, because I know he's gonna drop. But can you tell us about your content and the type of podcast that you're creating, and how if we're close to you in that area, or even if you would do it virtually, how we could get in touch with you?
My podcast is Shadow Band Network. I'm expanding it now. I got more studios now, so I'm just on the road. But my content is basically, it's cultural self-esteem. You know, it's culture reconnecting. It's because everyone wants to knock us down and parasite off us. But what I'm doing is I'm bringing in a different crowd. You know, usually it's the boule crowd that talks about politics. It's the educated people. I'm bringing the ex-con, the thug, that's trying to do better. You know what I mean? Because we more aggressive. Now, we're not stupid. We're not organized criminal empires. You know what I'm saying? We got to get things busy, and we do the physical work to put in work. So I'm bringing that audience of people into politics. Now I want the Bloods and the Crips to be in a that's hall, city hall meetings now. You know what I'm saying? I want all the aggressive, dominant men that usually go to prison and politics on the streets to be inside these rooms and these spaces now. So that's my content. It's like Tariq Nasheed, everybody else's. You know what I'm saying? It's just a different. I talk different. I cuss a lot. You know what I mean? You know. So I bring the street aspect to it. You know, I know how to find. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. My Facebook is Wayfair Willie James. You can just put in shadow ban and I'll pop up.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Also, I'm supposed to be turning one of my rooms into like a makeshift studio, something a little more comfortable. Because I do want to develop my YouTube channel to have panels. I definitely want to have a panel for New York. I've been coming at everybody lately because I mean, how much can I hear as a New Yorker who has always tried to heal the relationships or just show not everybody's on that type of timing where we don't like this demographic, that demographic, this demographic. Oh, thank you for that, Shadow Band. And I just think that it's time to hear our voices, the ones who don't have the power of media, who understand our connections to, there's a unspoken migration path. I'm finding people have family in California. California has recently started migrating here, and our people have started migrating to California, but other people who don't see that kind of still hold on to that East Coast, West Coast beef. And I just think a lot of the hip hop music industry, or we had the element when people were hustling and going out of town and they were bullying people. And my friend confirmed that sometimes it was us, But for the most part, I ain't getting no money from that hustling deal. And I wasn't part of them industry politics, but I do have the ties to the South. I know beautiful people from California, Chicago, and all of this, but I don't know how much peace can I handle when y'all just throwing us under the bus saying New York ain't worth saving, New York is this, and New York FBA allowed this and that. So now I'm like, where you come from? Oh, all right. And then I'm getting on them too, because I'm tired of the bullshit. How much can I take, y'all?
Hey, yo, so a lot of people think that New York City is overran with immigrants, right? I think out of the black population, I forgot exactly. I looked it up like a month ago. But the biggest ethnic group in New York City is the Black American non-immigrant. It's like 1 million to 900,000 pure Black Americans without no mixing, right? But then the ethnicities of Caribbean and African are big, but you got to divide them into different nationalities. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like the Caribbean population is big, but that's because they all one block. But individually, it's only a few 100,000 of Jamaicans, a few 100,000 Trinidad, like 40,000 Antiguans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, my whole thing is, it's not about race no more with me. I want to break everything down into ethnicity. Because if we do that, we have a bigger representation. We won't be a minority no more. Because people get blocked into groups like the Latino. The Latino is a block. That's not one nationality, one ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? Every nationality has ethnicities within it. But in America, people act like black is just one block. It is not. It's an ethnicity. Immigrants are different ethnicities from us. And even within Black and American, we have different ethnicities among ourselves, but we just unified. Like we have the Creole, the Geechee, the Melungeon. We have, you see what I'm saying? Different groups from different geographical places, but we all the same because we unified under this white oppression. You know what I'm saying? And we was forged into slavery and Jim Crow, which forced us to be one monolithic ethnicity. We the biggest ethnicity in this country. They say Germans are, but those are mixed breed people. Like that's not one ethnic group. It's like German descent. We are one continuation of the same, you know what I mean? The same ethnicity.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. We do outnumber at least the melanated immigrants because last time I checked, they said we can't really gauge the Hispanic community. I'm going to tell you right now,
I understand that they manipulated us in the government. They lock us out of industries, even home ownership. And also they have the power of media, because why would you spotlight a Caribbean on Juneteenth or a Latino class, visibly Latino, for Black History Month? And I just want to bring Afro Elite into the conversation, because I know he runs his errands and stuff and all that good stuff. Hey, Afro.
Hey BX, how you doing?
I'm fine. Good morning, Rich Rising.
Good morning to everybody. How y'all doing?
He's
Enjoying
good.
enjoying the conversation so far. Good to be here. To talk on the New York thing. This is something that I've talked about. This is something I talked to Sage about a little
Hey,
bit ago.
Deoda, just when he finishes, I'll bring you in the combo.
This
Go ahead, Deoda. Say good morning.
Good morning. I'm just surprised that Afro's up here because he runs his faces later on in the day. So I'm just surprised.
Go ahead, Afro.
Yeah. And I do want to talk on a live. I do got an important live I want to talk about later on today. So, yeah. But BX is here, so I'm here, right? So, as far as the New York thing, I don't know why. Well, I kind of do know why. It feels as if when it comes to anything as far as tethers or any type of FBA being, being displaced, there's this thing within the community where it's like New York is kind of public enemy 101, and the New York FBAs just like passively turn the other cheek and allow the tethers to just run rampant and take control. And that narrative is very problematic because those sentiments can start registering to people that New York FBAs almost deserve what is going on. If those sentiments keep going out, those sentiments kind of they start lingering in people's head, and people start to think, well, I mean, that's what you guys get almost, And because when something happens, there's a lot less sympathy for New Yorkers, for FBA New Yorkers, because there's this narrative that they kind of asked for it, or they did it to themselves. This is the bet they made. And to be very honest, I'm not going to lie, a lot of that does come from southern states for whatever reason. And to be honest, there's a thing in the community where southern states nowadays, they feel like they get to say anything they want to about northern states or bigger cities. They get to say whatever they want to about LA. They get to say whatever they want to about New York. They get to say whatever they want to about Chicago. But like, you talk to them about what they got going on in their state. They ain't got much motion going on in their state. And I'm not trying to beat them up, but I'm trying to say, like, let's be honest. Ain't one state or two just running everything. Let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if we want to talk about it, we can do that. But this narrative of trying to like pick on the state or make one state the weak link of the country when it comes to FBAs, I think is a very problematic and dangerous narrative, because then that demotivates people and it kills morale when it comes to trying to get people assembled behind one type of agenda, whether that's political or cultural or anything like that. So I just want to jump in and add that to the conversation.
Thank you, Afro. Yeah, I think it's the long-standing history of the beefs that happened. We have the, I guess you could call it the underbelly current of those who went out of town hustling. I think sometimes the South forget, and they always say New York lost the Southern culture, but we travel out of state to the family reunions. We have family reunions up here, even if we don't travel and down South, right? And I gotta say this, when somebody transitions in the North, I can really speak for New York, nowhere else really. Philly could come and speak for themselves. Shadow Band is here to speak for Connecticut. Um, the family from the South comes up. So my biological mother, she transitioned in 1994. And I remember interaction, an exchange that my grandmother had with my mother's oldest sister. My mother's oldest sister just was worried about burying her sister, and my grandmother was worried about the family coming from the South. And my aunt said, I ain't got time to wait for the family from the South to come up to bury my sister. She will not lay on ice. If they can't get here by a certain day, then they're just gonna have to sit with you later. So we still have our family connections, but I gotta tell you, I usually don't feed into the North versus South thing. I'd be like, oh, come on, we all the same. But when I went on the post with T.I. verse 50, and I love them both, right? T.I.'s my favorite, probably Juvie into the chat, right? So it's Juvie and T.I. But I thought it was just gonna be us in Georgia and everybody. I mean, Texas was in it. This one is in it. New York ain't ready for this and that, this and that. And I was like, you know what? I love a good underdog, so let me tell you something. Half of old New York is in Atlanta anyway, Georgia anyway, so it's gonna be us battling us. What is y'all saying? And I just went off.
Whoa. Let me say this. So I'm very familiar with New York. I got mad family in the Bronx and Brooklyn, right? I spent summers and nights out there, right? My grandmother, my dad's mother's in California. She's been in the 60s, 70s, right? My dad from LA, right? My grandmother's, my mom's mom and her father from North Carolina and Florida, right? So I've been to these places. I've been in these places. I'm a truck driver. There is no tension between the North and the South and the West in real, like that's just hip hop mentality, competition thing. That's just friendly fire. That's not a real division in real life. That's not look. We all cross pollinate, right? I don't got that much family in the Midwest, surprisingly, but I be in the right now. I'm in Chicago right now. I'm about to head out to Louisiana, right? Everybody hear my voice? Yeah, assume I'm from New York City. It's all I get so much love. You know what I'm saying? When I'm down south in North Carolina, when I'm in Cali, it's like that's not a real thing. It's not a real tension thing. That's just a hip hop mentality of competition. That's all that is. It's a culture. It's more of a geographic cultural competition thing. That's hip hop based. But if you take hip hop away from it, none of that exists.
But wait a minute, because I moved to Georgia. Well, then maybe it's just us in Georgia, because the reverse migration started in the 70s, right? Because my grandmother took me to live in Georgia. But when I went back down there as an adult in 2016 with my youngest son, we were in a taxi cab, right? And I was like laughing, joking, showing her one of my books and stuff. And everything was fine until I said, yeah, we just moved in the area. She's like, where you came from? I said New York. And I thought me and my son was going to have to jump out the car. And then like when I moved. Yeah, but no, my best friend, she had moved down there when she was 14. And she said, yeah, sometimes they do that. But she's seen both sides. And I know I hate hearing both sides. But she said she's literally seen both sides. And honoring thy ancestors is saying it's a little tension down here. Then you got to figure out you're a man. I was a woman with a child. They could have viewed me as any type of competition. Or because Georgia keep acting like they ain't know about tethers. They ain't know about immigrant class. Like there's no immigrants down there. When I moved down there in 2016, there were people with 15-year-old bi-ethnics. Dominican and Black American. Jamaicans was fixing my damn awning, and I was like, "Ooh, there's Jamaicans down here." And you saying they maybe it's certain pockets, but there are immigrants born in Georgia. So I be looking at Georgia like, why y'all up here on this app lying? So in case it's an isolated incident, right? But I gotta tell you, I've been like went to look for a author who I admired, right? And then she was like saying, oh, yeah, why y'all always gotta talk about, I'm from here, I'm from there. She was like, I get it. You loud, you dirty, you from the North. And I was like, oh, damn. I unfollowed her. I said, well, ain't no need to have no conversation with her. But go ahead.
Let me say this, though, about New York, though, right? Like, especially from Brooklyn and the Bronx, though. it's a certain class of people that set up for everybody. It's the ignorant, violent, it's the ignorant class that go other places and announce that though. So I can get why some people don't like. New York. I get that part because it's some belligerence. It's some belligerence. So I understand that part.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying. I get, I'm an Aquarius, so I'm a January Aquarius, so I'm a little sensitive. But I do remember spending down time in the South. I always wondered why we went to Georgia to live as a child. But my grandmother's favorite auntie, which would make her my grand auntie, her and her husband lived in Bluffton, South Carolina. So that's where we would go for like summer vacations, holiday stuff like that. So I am one who would travel back and forth to the South. But as an adult, I would just see people saying, and this was mainly women, I got to tell you, and they'd be like, I can't stand them bitches from New York. There was a woman fighting on the train, and there was another Black American talking about, I can't stand women from the North, especially New York. That's how they act. Look at them. And we do have a history reputation where they say we're very aggressive. But I got to tell you, I met a lady from New Jersey, and I'm not, she's who y'all think I would be as a New Yorker. I'm glad she on my side though, y'all. I got to tell you. So it's like I do be in spaces with, and then one time I was in a room. We was all talking. Somebody got a lot of time. They did the time. Honorable, didn't snitch. And they was like, yeah, he did this time. He ain't like them New York niggas. I said, oh, damn. We catching heat on all sides. Shadow Bear, I learned how to video record, screen record. I got to screen record some of these interactions. So we got the history of the snitches, but that's Alpo Martinez. Hear the name? Right? And
but he's a Puerto Rican though. Alpo's a Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? But New York is known for snitching though. It's a lot of snitching in New York City though.
But why they gotta bring it up why they gotta bring it up when I'm in the room? But anyway,
I want to say something. I'm sorry. Great energy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to say something real quick. So you know why they really mad at us that we come down here? Because I'm a professional lurker.
Where you at? Say where you're at.
I'm in Georgia. I'm in Covington, Georgia.
Okay.
And they really mad at us because they said, because the South is very conservative. And they saying that these Northerners are coming here to the South and bringing their Democrat views here. And we can't take the Democrat policies and all that stuff in these small areas. And at first I was like, well, what the hell is going on? I associated with them talking about Democrats as being racist, but I kind of get it now because, the areas are so small, and they were saying when Democrats come, all of these illegals come. So now these people are jumping from these areas and they go into more rural areas because they said the Northerners from New York are coming and bringing their Democratic views here, and they don't want to be around us Northerners. And I land my plane.
Let me say, I want to add one thing to that though too. One thing, DX. That's kind of true because I don't want to say I'm New York bashing a little bit, but let me say this though. New York is more ethnic friendly with other groups, right? They're more liberal than other groups. So I can get why people from the South don't like me because they come here and they do bring bi-ethnic and they bring ethnic girlfriends, Dominicans, and they change the fabric of the culture. And liberal, I like a lot of homosexuality that goes on in NYC. You got parades and everything. So I can see why Southern blacks kind of see the Northern blacks as different because it is a different type of black.
It's so funny you said that. That's what someone else had said. They said, next thing you know, we're going to have all these alphabet flags waving around. I was like, alphabet flags?
That's true.
They said that.
Okay,
yeah.
1 minute. Okay, we're going to go back to that, but I kind of want to bring Deyoda into the conversation. He said he going to tell Halo on me, y'all. I can't have that. Go ahead, Deyoda, get in the conversation.
Well, dang, I thought we was family around here.
We are friends.
3 times.
Well, I just messing with everybody. Good morning, family. Good morning, man.
Good morning.
Because we do need to start screen recording Shadow Man, bro. I don't know no one who stands more on business than Shadow Man, bro. Like every time I catch him, he always rocking out for the lineage. So I fuck with Shadow Man.
Salute, my
But
boy.
you already know Shadow. So, but. What I kind of did want to add to the conversation was the overall, like, kind of arcing, like, the South has an immigrant problem as well. Can we stop, like, again, we need to definitely stop pretending. Now, I do understand because, like, I was going to high school in the mid 2000s and 10s. So it's like, I really didn't encounter immigrants until high school, right? But sort of they always been there because I do kind of remember seeing them through elementary, like, because I went to a crackered out elementary. I ain't gonna hold nobody. I'm mad that I went to my elementary. It wasn't until I went to middle school that I was like, all right, I'm in all black. Like, I'm like, but like, we always, and this is me as a Floridian, so it's like we do need to stop pretending that we're like overrun, but we need to do like we're not too overrun, but we do have an immigrant problem here in the South. And yeah, I do got family in Georgia, and there are immigrants in Georgia. Like I don't know why they're pretending we don't have that kind of problem, but it's very weird. So it's like it's like I don't know, man. That's all I kind of wanted to add. Thank you, Miss Yes. I'm still telling Halo on you though. Don't worry.
Deoda, where you at in
doing that because
Florida?
I be telling on you. Mm-hmm.
Deoda, where you at in Florida? Because I lived in Florida too. Where you at?
Oh, Tampa.
Yeah, it's because where I was at, it was a lot. But in certain areas, it's not a lot of immigrants here in Georgia. Certain certain
like,
areas.
Yeah, especially like in the neighborhood I grew up in, we didn't have we didn't deal with. I didn't really see immigrants, and I'm be truthful. Even as a jit, I always knew we was different than other people. I get it in certain instances. Yeah, we could say we look alike because of the melanation in our skins, but overall, we really don't look like these people. So it's like you can always kind of spot otherized ethnic quote unquote black person, right? So like even like, and I knew this at the age of fucking 5. So it's like I really didn't start encountering them into high school. Like, hey, you Haitian. Oh, bro, you Jamaican. Y'all look kind of a little different. But over like in the neighborhood I grew up in, it wasn't none of that. Like I only seen niggas. So like it wasn't until like I ventured out in school that's when because they wasn't in our neighborhoods. I don't know why they pretended like they was just amongst us. They wasn't really in our neighborhood.
This is to be or to instigate a North versus South type of thing. This is me as a woman who has lived in a diverse city, been around all demographics except for the African, right? Everything with them was transactional. I don't even know where they lived when I was growing up. When I had my children, they weren't the demographics that was coming to my household. They just wasn't around us. So I get what you're saying when you say, why do they act like they've always been around us? For me, that's the Africans. But as an adult now, my elders were gone, right? My grandmother got sick in 2010. She was the last of my elders who had a connection, direct connection to the South. She's the one that always took me to the South. So she stopped going after a certain time. So if I wanted to join a sorority, I'm gonna say this, but it was too many foreign names on there. I'm the type that was looking for community. The internet was a blessing and a curse for me because yes, I could connect with my Southerners, but then my Southerners were saying stuff that was hurtful to me. So this is me venting as somebody who was looking for community only to be met with some type of bias because of the place that I was born and raised in. I'm a true New Yorker. I love New York. However, I still love my roots that were in the South because I do have indigenous roots in the North, but I also have my Carolinian roots, right? And my Alabamian roots. And I also lived in Georgia as a child. So I do remember the way the pond smelled like, the trees I used to climb. And I'm spiritual too. I had my first supernatural experience in the South. So the South has meaning, nostalgia, memories. My ancestors are down there too. I got a family plot in Alabama. So this is me venting because I do think that I can't tell nobody how to feel about being bullied by older New Yorkers who was in certain industries. But I do wish that didn't reflect on people like me who try to heal. And that's not even my place to heal. Those people, whoever did that, has to really apologize. Like, look, man, I was wrong. I shouldn't have locked you out of this or did that to you. But here I am going around apologizing and stuff. And it's been years, and now my feelings is hurt. Yes, so I'm going to speak about it. So this is me just venting as a New Yorker with northern and southern roots, right? Just was looking for community only to be met with certain things. And it's kind of bad because then I focus only on the bad stuff. But I want to shout out Memphis, Basic to be exact. He's from Memphis, said he never met a New Yorker before. He did understand that New Yorkers were bothering them, and that's why Andre 3000 and them said the South had something to say. But even he said, do you think, come on now. I gotta call, sorry. Even he said, do you think New York is worth saving? And if so, how can I help you? And he's somebody who's upset that the North was doing whatever they was doing to his people at a certain time. And then Cali came up to the reparations hearings to tell New Yorker commission, this is wrong. And you know the whole big Cali or East Coast versus West Coast beef and the rat thing. Who else? So Cali came up, Shadow Ben from Connecticut asked me how he could help. Afro Lee from Chicago got his own issues in Chicago at the reparations hearing and town hall calls. But when I asked him to join the panel, can we have a topic? Or even if I get in his inbox and vent, we don't vent about nobody here. We vent about what I'm going through as far as the North to South, or what I'm going through as far as people always talking about my kids. But other people that work with they're doing, that's not the topic of discussion. I ain't venting about them. I'm venting about things that make me sensitive. So now I started telling myself, all this time I'm looking for a community. The only community I probably need is myself. But I'm in a very diverse city, and I think too much diversity does harm foundational Black American communities. And I just don't like when the Southerners say slick shit out their mouth. And as a New Yorker, I want to bark back, right? But I'd be like, oh, that's not everybody. I sound like the immigrant. That's not everybody, though. I got Southern roots. And I'm just tired of that. So now it's like, oh, you still talking? Well, let me tell you something, honey. And I did that yesterday. No, 2 days ago on Shabu's panel. Then turned around and told Shabu, you know, everybody that was problematic to the lineage on this app came from your room because you a friendly nigga. And he said, what? I said, you a friendly nigga. And he ended the lie because he won't disrespect me. And then I got in his inbox. I said, so I see you your next live. He probably said, fuck me next. Because I ain't seen him going live yet. But look, Nola's saying he is. And Nola be bothering me too, y'all. Because she moved here and lived here for about 10 years in Brooklyn. And told me New York smells like plantains. Well, what the hell you think? You moved to Little Jamaica or Little Havana, wherever the hell you lived in New York. It ain't gonna smell like sweet potatoes, honey. But yeah, I'm only talking tough because y'all here. Otherwise, I'll be like, no, why you saying that to me?
But you know what? I
But
want to
yeah,
add something on what you said, BX. You said,
yeah.
and we need to talk about, now you see what you just said about the North and the South, and we had trauma. So basically, the Southern people are mad at us Northern people because we left them. And we promised when we left them that we was gonna help them because we took money, not saying your family, but we took money from some of our ancestors to go up to New York, to go to Chicago. And we promised when we was getting on our feet that we was gonna send money back to cultivate their land. And some people didn't keep their promises. So that's where the anger and the HATE is coming from. But people probably don't know it, or people probably forgot it. But that's where the animosity is coming from. We did the Southern people dirty, some of them. You get what I'm saying? Some of them had to sell their land because they took out loans just to help their family go to New York or Chicago or big cities to live. You get what I'm saying? And that's pretty much
So,
a lot of people's stories.
For
so
my
I,
family,
I,
I
I
have
can't really.
family.
One moment, let me just get this out, and then I'm gonna go on mute and be on mute for a few seconds. I can continue
Oh,
the convo one at a time, of course. I can say this. I kind of felt like they were kind of upset that they lost siblings, they lost maybe even husbands, maybe even parents. They lost loved ones when loved ones started migrating up here. But I thought that that's what it is. Because I got to tell you, when my friends started moving to the South in the 80s, my childhood friend, we reconnected years later. I was upset at her and her family that they left me. So I kind of understand, but it wasn't to the point where I'm just disrespecting the South. It hurts because you lose your family. Some maybe never even made it to the North. I hear stories of families reconnecting decades later. Some of our families did face trauma, and that's why they left the South. They didn't want to speak to their family again. Um, my father's mother, South Carolina, she was on her own for a while, got married early, had three children in South Carolina, migrated to New York where she had my father. He's the first New York born child that she had out of 10. Okay, two passed in infancy. Because during those days, the healthcare system, all that. But to me, and I kind of was out of the loop, she didn't really talk about the South. And when you asked her, but she did everything Southern, from her dialect, right? She's from Monk's Corner. From her dialect to the way she cooked, the way she raised the children, and because my grandfather got sick and transitioned early, after they had what? They had like 9 kids, and then my baby aunties from, her other relationship. But I heard my grandmother was a strong black woman, like, and I knew my grandmother. I know how strong she was. But my cousin told me some stories where my older auntie would have a boyfriend over. He start acting the fucking fool. She tell all the kids in the house because she had all the grandkids. She said, "When I give you the sign, open the door." Right? So she gave them the sign. In her hand was a big iron cast pot. She went beating the nigga out the fucking, excuse me. She went to beating his ass out the door. So my grandmother was truly Southern, but there were some things she really wouldn't talk about because she migrated up here, but she had left her trauma in the South. So I can't believe that, but I didn't know about the money aspect of them, and then in my house, we had an extra bedroom once my parents moved us to a private house because we used to live on Andrews Avenue. If you're from New York and you know the Bronx, we used to live on Andrews Avenue right by St. Valentine's Church, and the apartment building was really like mouse infested. So they moved us to a private house in the Soundview section. We had an extra room because me and my sister used to share a room. I got to tell you, that extra room, yeah, there's private houses in the Bronx, Soundview section, Beach Avenue to be exact. Everybody and their mama would come live with us at one point in time. So we wasn't one of those families like, oh, we ain't helping none of the other family just because we doing a little bit better, There's houses all throughout the Bronx, Shadow Bend. Where do you go? Only Brooklyn? I know you ain't only going to the projects, right? We got houses in New York. We
I mean
don't
West
have
Avenue a
gas.
lot. I mean West
Huh?
Avenue Project. I mean West Avenue Projects a lot. I've been
What's the name?
Monroe, Soundview, and Western Projects mostly.
Okay, but if you go further down, like you go into Classon's Point, you'll see a way more private houses. They're more sturdier than the newer houses that they put up.
Okay, I've never seen them though.
Those are like paper thin. So I grew up on Beach Avenue in a private house. My stepmother didn't want to buy a home, but the landlord was really cool with us. So I used to call them my grandparents, and when I get in trouble in school, they used to come pick me up and stuff. So we were family, So, but go ahead. I'm gonna be on mute. Afro, do you want to chime in at this time? I do have some topics if y'all want to go to the topics.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is a productive conversation because I think we are acknowledging a lot of the
the past kind of issues and tensions that we've had. Um, and we see a lot of anger from the South towards the North, and it comes off as it can come off as jealousy, but we have to understand that this history kind of does go along to what our sister said before about how with the Great Migration, a lot of that was supposed to be strategic. It was supposed to be, okay, there were jobs and opportunities in the North. We can't send the whole family up North, so we're going to send a select few people, and then y'all supposed to send resources, and y'all supposed to kind of pave the way for opportunities. And there were families that fell short of that. On top of that, there's been a narrative that and we're gonna have to, I guess, tell the truth about this, that Northern people have a very kind of like snarky and condescending attitude towards Southern people. You know, not too long ago, there was a whole narrative going around that Southern people are stupid, that Northern people are smarter than Southern people, you know, that the South is dumb. So they're coming from like a northern city. I'm not gonna lie that is something that I have heard, you know. Now when I would go to the South, I mean, everything was cool with my family personally. I don't think anybody was talking about my family because, you know, my family, we've all pretty much gotten along, you know, even when we go to the Deep South and all that. But that is something that I have heard. So I just wanted to layer that on top of what she had said because looking at it from that point of view, I can get how this kind of anger has built up from the South to the North, which isn't fair on us because we didn't do it. But you know, now it seems like now the South is kind of letting shit off their chest. Now it's all like, damn, you know, what's all this about? You know, so I think it's good that we acknowledge everything.
Hey, I'm gonna add this to it though, right? Right? Well, a lot of the tensions between the North and the South, you know, I just want to say this. Could it be that the Caribbeans from the North go down South and make a, you know what I mean, a bad representation of the North too? Because look, think about it. People are saying the South are now having immigrants now, right? But I mean, a lot of the northern immigrants are going down south as well. And the immigrants have a different type of attitude because they don't have no roots or connections to the southern people. You know what I'm saying? Like most of us are familiar with southern people. So I could see if someone like a Jamaican first generation go down south and be disrespectful, like this is slow, this nigga's country, because that's what they do anyway, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a miscommunication in representation of people. Because I think we all got southern relatives, I ain't mistaken. And we all familiar. We don't disrespect our relatives just because their country is slow. If anything, we hip them and put them up on game. I think the miscommunication is with these Caribbeans that's coming here and these Africans going there, that's first gen, that look like us. And I don't think the Southerners differentiate.
Wait, Shadow. Look, I would agree with you, and I sort of am agreeing with you, but you can't be calling the elder slow. Is right there.
No, I'm not saying so. Let me say this.
I'm not saying you saying that, but it's like those sort of sentiments is kind of like.
Nah, but check it out. Hear me out 1 second. Let me say this.
Okay.
If it's the first gen that look and talking just like us, even I get confused sometimes. It ain't nobody slow. It's that they got good camouflage. Anybody can get fooled. It's not about being slow. It's about being misdirected and deceived. You know what I'm saying? I would never call my grandmother or my grandfather slow. I would never do that.
No, I'm not saying you did, right? But you know how you was like, oh, bro, you know how they be a little slow, so we be trying to put them on game. It's like, see, people don't realize it's the verbiage they be saying. They don't even realize it. That's what Afro was talking about. Like, you know, I'm a southern ass nigga. You know, bitch, I'm from Florida. Can't get no more south than here. I'm just fucking with all my other little southerners. Cause they be trying to exclude us from the South like we ain't southern.
Hold on, let me say this. Let me say this. When I say slow, right? When it comes to New York City, like New York City, Chicago, and LA, these main cities, Anything outside of that circumference is going to be slower than the cities. Like, I'm from Connecticut. New York had everything first. You know what I'm saying? And when I go down south, the slang, the hip hop, even like hip hop music, they had it first. You know what I'm saying? It's not slow like you're like you're saying like you mentally slow. It's like slow as far as like everyone's a little behind in culture when you come to New York City. That's not a mental thing. It's a cultural thing because it's a faster moving city. It's a metropolis. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you?
I know what you mean, but you also got to think about this too. Like I get what y'all mean when y'all say like y'all move fast, but y'all do realize y'all also get culture from the South. Like that's
I agree.
what it's like yeah, y'all move fast, but like we also have to we also be moving fast as well. Everybody got their like everybody got their own shit going on across all these states. So it's like, yeah, I get what it's like what people mean where the South moves a little bit slow, but we also still keep up too. So we not really behind culture. Like, we just don't partake in some of y'all fashion because y'all shit be looking ass sometimes. Like,
hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
You have to throw that in there.
Hold on.
Yeah, Nola got something to say. The South got something to say. Good morning.
Yeah.
What you said,
The South got something to say.
I just want to say this. Look. In Florida, right? From Florida, Miami is faster than most towns and cities in Florida. Like, every major city is going to be faster. And like, for example, the South they have immigrants first. New York City had them first. You know what I'm saying? So when I say faster, it doesn't mean mental. It's just that things come later. Like immigrants came later to the South. They came to the North first.
No. I never thought you was calling like our elders slow, Shadow. You know I fuck with you, so I never thought. But I was like,
all right, cool. I just want to make sure. I mean, I never do that.
I was just
all right. Can I say this? I'm sorry. I'm about to drop because I'm on my way to work. Because I want to tell Shadow Bad no. That's how we be on game. We definitely know the difference. As a person, when I first moved to New York, I knew the difference. I knew those black people that I saw there were different. We know an immigrant when we see one. I've heard when folks from the North did used to visit the South, y'all thought y'all were better. That's what I heard. It wasn't immigrants. It was not immigrants. Actually, when the immigrants do come to the South, because they are outnumbered, they're more nicer, you know? So they really trying to assimilate and blend in. So they really not on that type of time.
Well, actually, they are behind your backs. Because let me tell you something. A lot of people, I chat with a lot of different people, especially the kind of business that I do. So one of the business that I had went to, he was a first generation. He was from New York. And he was like, I don't know if I can deal out here, AJ. These people are slow. It's like they don't aspire to be anything. It's different from New York. I said, well, you got to remember, I said to him, I said, in New York, you hustling and bustling. And these people have homes. They have heirs, properties. And to be quite honest, Southern wealth is quiet. You get what I'm saying? Southern wealth is quiet. You wouldn't even know your neighbors living next to you was a millionaire because they not flashy. They not showing that. So everything that you hustle in New York trying to get your homes and cars, they have all of that here. So maybe you might not see that type of hustle and bustle and inspiration. So they be talking, this
is in the 90s. I heard this in the 90s. Immigrants weren't really coming to the South. They starting to come down like now. They really late. They're migrating to the South now. This is like early 90s.
It's important. Nola.
Yeah.
It's important for you to say where you're from and speak for that demographic.
Oh, okay. I'm from New Orleans.
Georgia, they've been going down there since about the late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
And another thing too, this African lady that she be selling stuff.
I didn't even finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm from New Orleans and I do have family in Mississippi. And I've heard stories of people coming from up north, coming to the South, thinking they're better, saying we don't know how to dress, we're stupid, and yada, yada, you. So that stuff I've heard, it wasn't immigrants. These are like family sort of members that went up there, got bougie, and they come down and they view us as ignorant, slow, and, you know, That's just my tea
I
on
can
it,
believe
and
that.
I'm speaking from New Orleans to Mississippi,
Mhm.
and that's it. I don't know about Atlanta and all that, but I know immigrants are starting to come here now, and the representation I see from them, they really come down here. They're more friendlier, I guess, because they're outnumbered. They know better, but that's not the representation that they're putting on here, and that's all I gotta say.
Okay.
And to another point with that, this is not just a Black American thing. This is really an American thing. Really, after the Civil War, you've seen that even with YT families. You know, if you think about how Southern people are depicted in media with very thick accents in movies and cartoons and all in media in general, Southern people are depicted as slow. And they were depicted as slow or and kind of remedial up until recently. You know what I'm saying? And it's very easy for somebody to go up north and they have access to less discrimination. They have access to education and things like that, and then kind of get bougie, like she said. You kind of come down south and be all like, oh man, that's how y'all living? Oh, okay, we don't do that up there. Kind of get like that. Kind of get to flexing on people and all that stuff. So,
Oh wow.
I'm not saying my
I can
family's done it,
imagine.
but I do
Yeah.
think that in order for us to, to fix this problem, we're gonna have to be honest about it. And I don't think that this
Yeah.
has happened for like everybody, of course. Cause still, Southern people got thick skin, so they not very sensitive people. But that tension does still tend to add up. So when it's they turn to clap back, the next generation is kind of confused and scratching their head like, damn, what did I do? But you got to understand, this is
That's
really
me.
existed
I'm like,
since the
where?
Great
What would I
Migration.
do?
Well,
You're right,
my family
Catherine.
did it. They did it, and I'm going to be real because I'm a real person. My family came down from New York and went down to Virginia, went down to North Carolina, and they showed they butts off, and I was so embarrassed. It was to the point that they didn't even want to deal. And I'm going up introducing myself to them, and they was acting funny. I don't take things personal, but they showed they butts off. I'm telling you, when I got back home, I was so upset with everybody. They don't even want to have a family reunion to deal with us anymore. And it was the elders that did it. They made us all wear white so we can stick out. And it was like, yeah, we coming from New York. Let's all wear white. So we all wore white. And I thought they was going to tell the people from down south, and they didn't. And listen, yeah, they did that.
And honoring. They even had a skit on In Living Color. They made fun of the South where this Southern gentleman, he was going through the Underground Railroad and he ended up going to New York and he thought he was still in slavery. He was like, no, the guy from New York or in the city area up north had to tell him, we free.
Well, I
And
didn't see that. I didn't see that one.
that was a skit on In Living Color, girl.
I gotta get that on YouTube.
Yeah, so he was so far behind being from the South that he didn't know that he was free, so he had to go to the Underground Railroad up north, and so it's always been a thing that we are slow, we're behind, we're so behind that we were still in slavery. So.
But no, I think that's what Afro kind of position transition to a perfect position about propaganda, because like you think this adds to the propaganda, like because we got to remember it's an American thing as well. So you think this but if we're talking specifically among us, do you think like shows like and skits like that added to the propaganda that the South is slow? Like
it did, and I do agree with him. Definitely, even when they had the white tee and blackface, they were portraying Southern people, like we were slow and buckwheat, all that, But I have to drop down. I'm driving. I'm going to work, but I'm listening to you guys, and I am enjoying y'all conversation.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hey,
Nola.
Nola,
I
baby.
gotta drop too.
Hey, Simon.
All right. I gotta drop too. I'm going to the dentist to get these pearly whites
Okay.
cleaned. So I'm gonna be listening.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Afro, did you finish your last statement when you was talking about the propaganda?
Yeah, I landed.
Did you look for your influential or Black American woman for Women's History Month, or do you want to still do that tomorrow?
We can do that tomorrow. We can do it tomorrow.
Okay, no problem. You got to get back with me about the time. But I see Simon joining. Hi, Simon.
Sister BX, hello to the family. Black American, Afro, Brother Deoda. Hope everybody's risings is going well. Shout outs to the sisters that was just on the panel also.
Yeah.
What I wanted to kind of just add to it has been propaganda, but me being a northerner also, I didn't quite show my ass. I wouldn't say I showed my ass. What I will say, what happened was, I found out, because I always went back and forth to my family reunions and all of that. The thing is, for me being a male, a Black American male, when I went down south, growing up, I ain't, patting myself, being all conceited, but when people see me, they seem to agree that I'm a tad bit handsome and shit like that. So, but it was a thing in the South that some Southern men, and I give them kudos now in my older age, but they love deep, like they love quick, like they take their women like very seriously. And when I was going down south, with me not having a Southern accent, me being from the North, the girls was kind of on me. And so my back and forth will more be with the dudes like, nah, he think he could come down here and get my shawty. And I'm like, well, you sure? Me being from the North, we kind of love a little bit more loosely. And we used to growing up, not today, but growing up, it was, man, if she up north, it was like, if she gonna be with me, she gonna be with me. I gotta keep pushing. But in the South, it was more, men were still pouring into their women, like, and I respect it now. You know what I'm saying? I didn't quite understand it growing up. But when I would go down there, I guess these shorties that was not, that was probably already spoken for, they was stepping out of their box. And that was kind of usual for me being up to the North to get a woman to jump ship. And we kind of, it's not good. I'm not congratulating it. I'm not, but that was the
Are
game.
you calling Northern women loose?
No, I'm not. No. I'm saying Northern women were more independent minded. I would say that idea of being independent, that is kind of a Northern thing. That's not really a Southern thing. The Southern women were more in the courting stage still, and I that's what I'm saying. I respect that courting aspect, and it should always remain that, because a woman and a man should be able to earn each other's love. What I'm saying is, in the North, you would have women that would let you court them, but you will also have women that would be like, I'm independent. And, sometimes a woman in the North may want to take the lead. And, and that's where the little back and forth happened. But what I'm comparing it to was in the South, the woman was always looking to be the home builder. And if that woman was building the home and that man was pouring into her, when I'm coming down from the North, and I'm like, shorty bad, shorty, and they got curves down there. Them Southern women, they definitely got their gravy on them potatoes, all right? And so, me just being there like, bro, I'm here for 3 days, I'm here for a week, you know what I'm saying? Where they at? That would get me, when I was younger, into a pickle. It never got way out of him, but every year I would come down, it would be, I had to grow out of that. So there was like a stigma that the men down south was soft when it came to their women.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna confirm what you're saying about the independent nature, because I remember before my mother transitioned, some of the things advice she gave me, I out of all of it, what stuck out was being independent. She said, don't
Yo,
be
chill,
in like
deal.
where you have to rely on a man. Be independent, right? I think that I took okay, so now me moving forward, I like to transform her message because I think that made me hard when I needed to be vulnerable, when I needed help. I went ask for it, had to get it on my own. Um, I would say that you can have a life partner and still be independent. Don't be so independent that you don't think you don't need, you know, a partner, like
This BS.
a
This
equal
BS.
partner.
This BS.
Uh,
Can we get on Simon because the first thing he did on stage was lie. Like he said he wasn't
he
showing his
lied. But why you
ass.
cut me
We
off when
seen
I'm
this
trying to give a
story.
message to the northern women that you can be independent and vulnerable within having a relationship because that don't be in the be independent kind of led to many of us for marriage is just a piece of paper and we don't need a man. And then when you realize you finally need a man, you a little bit up there in life, you know. You know. Not all, because Northerners do get married, but I'm just saying, I think I honed in too much on the independent thing that my mother was talking about because the man that she told me she was transitioning, she knew she was sick and she was transitioning. So I just like to say to my independent women, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think at some point in your life, you should realize marriage is more than just a piece of paper. You should never be a certain age and wonder if your kids are going to be able to be the ones to help you. You should have a mate already there. So, yeah, I'm usually more eloquent than this, but, I'm not trying to be too vulnerable. I'm just saying that in every stage of the game, you're going to need a partner, and it's okay to be the strong, independent black women, but you're also going to need to be vulnerable and have a partner, whatever that partner looks like to you. Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and say a man. You're going to need your partner, your friend, your confidant, your support, and your protector. We can't do it all, ladies, by stuff. We tried. We tried. We give it a good try. But at some point in your life, you may sit there and think like, damn, was that too independent? Because now I'm mean. I'm meaner than a motherfucker. I'm mean. And then my sons are even more mean because they're like, what you looking at him for? What he said to you, Mom? What he said? They better not gonna, I think I gotta go to the South just today. I always say my husband in the South, but I realize the sons I have, especially that oldest one, I ain't gonna be able to date in New York, y'all. I gotta go to the South. But somebody told me they got an uncle and he a cowboy. I'm gonna go to the South with my cowboy boots. I'm trading in my riding boots for some cowboy boots. I'll let you know how it works out. No, but on a serious note, I think Simon is right. The North, we are told to be, many of us, I'm saying many of us are told to be independent. And I think for the most part, some of us really run with that, thinking that it means to be hard and do everything on your own. So you might give up on your relationship a little faster because I was just like, fuck you, I don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like me, y'all. Then you get older, you get a little vulnerable. You see your babies are growing up, so they're not always going to be in the house with you. And you looking around like, who going to be there with you? But I ain't lonely. I just want a partner, a companion. That's all. You want to know where my children's father is? I bet you do, but I ain't going to tell you.
If I can, to add to that, to what Simon was saying, I do think that is something true. Even though there's a lot of black folk who got roots in the South, from the South, there's still like a difference in maybe kind of family dynamics and family values. Like even how we value a man and a woman dating, how we value parenting and all of that stuff. And Southern people, I know, it tend to be, and this is just a thing in the South, period. They are traditional and they don't like when tradition is broken. They really not, they are less accepting to like new takes on parenting and new takes on relationship and new takes on. Southern people is very, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just keep a good thing going. Northern people are way more of experimental and trying new things and all of that stuff. So I don't think they don't like the very, I guess, if you can use the word progressive perception of relationships that Northern people do, tend to have and all that stuff. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to parenting, when it comes to that stuff. So I do think that there is like a value thing that they don't like, because they don't like, oh, y'all coming down here, then next thing you know, folks gonna get divorced because y'all gonna be trying to convince y'all homegirl to divorce him. He gonna be out here running the streets and all that stuff. So I think it's also like a kind of like a value difference, because even I've noticed even conservatives in the North are not as conservative as conservatives from the South. Like Southern conservatives, they're conservative, much more than even Northern conservatives. Northern conservatives lean more kind of like moderate when it comes to certain issues. Southern conservatives, they ain't moderate on nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's also a thing too. Now I do gotta say this before I mute up. Simon, how you confused why anybody mad? Okay, you going down the South being a home wrecker. Okay, you out there moving,
Man,
being a whole home wrecker, and then get surprised when somebody mad don't want to
bro,
see
I
you coming
was
around.
young. I was young. I was an athlete. Yo, I was young. You gotta forgive me, the South. You gotta understand, I was a Northern athlete that was like, yeah, let me see what this Southern pot of gold looking like. And guess what? I had to learn. Luckily, my family is known down South, and I carry that name down there. So when my cousins and my family came through, it was like, nah, he with us. And so I chopped it up with bros, and they was like, we do it different down here. And I'm like, alright. And so we had our powwow in a sense. But yeah, that's why I learned from that though. But I can see where if where someone that was just like fresh from the North, don't really got a big family down South, I can see where that line could have been crossed, and then we're stereotypes and all that. Because I was down there ready to do more than I was supposed to. But I learned from it, and I take that.
But Simon, you got on stage talking so.
Here goes Dio. I know Dio knows.
We hear the full. You still not telling the full story, so we know you was down there showing your ass.
I was developing my social skills in the South that I didn't quite understand, man. It's a lot of attention.
From the Carolinas.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Carolina.
Yeah, I'm from North and South. Yeah, I'm from North and South. Cali, right? And so it was Kakalaki. Yeah, I'm from North and South Kakalaki. My thing is,
don't let them hear you say it like that.
Yeah, they can say it. No, you're not. It's all right. I get it. I'm gonna say it like this. It's a lot of attention that's in the South. That I was getting attention up north. That's straight, but I guess I got used to it up north. That down south attention is something. Yeah, it's something just real more ethnic and rooted. And I'll leave it like that. I mean, a lot of Big Mac and cheese down now.
My granny used to make that. Like we don't cook, Simon.
And BX, can I say this? And I want to say this to everybody.
And then the Black American House cook-off. Go ahead.
And I don't want y'all to throw tomatoes at me in the comment section. But as a New Orleanian that moved to New York, in my experience of immigrants for the first time, I got to admit they were very nice to me. I was invited into homes. I went to cookouts. I mean, when I was living in New York, of course, I didn't have any family there. They welcomed me in. And I don't know if it's because me being from the South, and I was different from most people up north, but they were very welcoming to me. They never,
Okay,
so
so
the things,
I'm gonna tell you why.
why? Don't say because I'm cute. No.
Well, yeah,
Don't.
pretty girl privilege,
No,
but we
no,
do
no,
have an
no.
element of color.
No,
Hold
I
on,
meant fam.
this
No,
is real. Wait,
No,
go
she's
ahead. Go
right.
ahead.
Hold
me and my
on. Wait,
friends.
no,
Hold
she
on,
right. She right. No,
I'm
because
gonna tell
we
you
got.
something.
I think
No.
she's
Tell me,
right.
you one of my
Go ahead,
favorite
BX.
Creoles. You and Halo, y'all are my favorite Creoles, right? But I have a friend who she's not Creole, but she's ambiguous looking, right? She's Black American, and she has a great grandmother who was West Indian, right? But
Right.
she's it's hard to kind of detect who she is, what's her ethnicity and stuff. And she gets a whole lot of, "You're so pretty. What are you mixed with?" And that she can't stand it. She be like, "Don't play with my blackness." So she got three. What's that? I'm gonna just say she got three foundational Black American grandparents and one West Indian background, right? But she didn't really have the experience where I had, where we had a lot of similar experiences, but I noticed the microaggressions and stuff more than she did. But she did migrate. Well, her family migrated back to the South when she was 14. But I lived all my formidable years here. And even today, I still face microaggressions in the Latino stores and stuff. But they looking at her. So I know I seen you. You are Creole. I see Halo, and a lot of things that they say about people that look like, "Oh, but she don't look black anyway. What she mean?" You know what I'm
No,
saying?
that's
So
not
a lot
true,
of times
BX.
when
I'm
you look
telling
and you
you.
gotta understand, the Caribbean has a lot of colorism. If you look a certain way, yeah, they may be liable to allow you in there. Well, not liable. They may be faster
Hey,
to allow
Sister
you
BX, can I
in
give a
them.
little
Wait, I'm
pushback on
laughing
that?
at
Because
Tiana.
I don't. I'm not. I'm gonna agree with Nola on this one. We don't.
What?
I mean, I don't know. When my bros came up from the South, because I went to. That's what I'm saying. I got
We
intro.
talking about from a woman perspective. What are you talking
BX,
about?
You're
And
no,
right.
I'm telling you, BX,
I'm not
I
gonna
meant,
discount your experience. Well, what year
BX,
was this, Nola?
I'm
What
telling you,
year?
BX, it wasn't because of that. It was not like, it was like I
What
had
year?
genuine friendships. Like these people were
Yeah.
very genuine.
No,
And
I
it's
get
not
that,
because
but
I was,
what
I mean, of
year?
course I'm pretty. Of course I get pretty.
Oh
Okay.
God, look at her.
You know, of course,
I know the
but,
colorism. Not the colorism. Pretty
but
good.
I'm pretty sure if I had a nasty attitude, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They wouldn't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Year
I was
counts
brought
too,
around
Nola. When did
family.
you move here?
My sweet,
Because remember,
uh-huh.
what year you moved here?
2005, and I stayed all the way to 2012 or 2015.
And by then they were saying the N-word this, N-word that, and
They never
everybody
called
was...
me a nigga.
No,
Oh,
I
I'm
mean the music.
I think
I mean the music.
I think we need to
They used
harp
to,
on the more
they were, I'm
important
telling you,
question.
BX, they were very
So
nice.
BX, I think
Women
it's a little
and
bit of
men.
a
I'm
difference.
telling
It was
you
even the
why.
women
I'm telling you
too.
the year. I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that at all. I'm saying what year, because years in New York really matter.
Okay.
We
That's what I'm saying. Her
understand, Simon,
05
the
through 12,
first
that's my
truce
generation,
between
right?
you're not, huh?
So, wait, that's my generation. So what I'm trying to tell you, BX, is we were more.
Inclusive.
I've met more Southern women and Southern men before I started meeting more Caribbean and
I think y'all
Hey, I don't hang
misunderstanding
around
what I'm
Africans.
saying.
I
I'm
still.
saying it's the year. The year. By the 1990s, everybody
BX,
was more
I
inclusive. The
understand what you're
N-word was
saying.
being used and there was more mixture. So you came after we had to fight it out with them, and the first truce was called in the 80s when Reagan came. Not only that, I'm saying you do look ambiguous. Me and my friend was saying that the other day. She didn't have the experience I had in the 80s because she's ambiguous looking. My son just came home. He's not ambiguous looking at all, but he does tell people he's half Caribbean, right? So somebody at his job was like, "Oh, real nice to him," after they found that out. So I'm just saying certain ways that you look, they ain't gonna tell you. You think they're gonna tell you?
Sister
But I'm not
BX,
saying
this is
you're
what I
not a
want to
nice
say.
person or that
I
you didn't
think
have.
I think what you're missing is that no matter how pretty or unpretty you are, you can get roasted. All right, you can be very
Shut
handsome,
up.
but that's what
I'm
we
not
know.
missing
That's what I'm
that.
saying. That's our no. But listen, that's our
What?
balance. That's our
But
balance.
you're
Why we?
talking,
Wait,
we're
wait,
talking
Go
about
wait,
ahead.
the
wait.
I'll
immigrants,
land.
Simon. We're
I'll let.
not talking about us. She's saying that
But
the immigrants were nice, genuine people. She ain't talking about foundational Black
She
Americans.
said Black
So are
I
you?
Americans
didn't
was invited into
because
her
I
home.
I didn't meet
wait,
any in New York. BX. Remember I told you I said I met only like on one hand, and I
wait,
you know
I
Simon
think
is
we're
lost.
misunderstanding.
wait,
She
wait.
said
I know
she
where
met
I
I
feel
Black
think what
lost.
Americans that.
everybody's missing
Wait,
from the
Nola. Maybe I
conversation.
misunderstood you. Nola, you
You
said
did.
you got invited into Black American homes or Caribbean homes.
immigrants,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I didn't hear that part. My bad. All
immigrants,
right.
yeah.
people
And
from
I think
Okay.
what
Guyana,
I
people
everyone
wouldn't
from
be
missing
fighting
from the
her
Trinidad,
that
people from
hard.
conversation.
I know
Jamaica,
how people. We
Africa.
going.
I was in
Uh,
African households.
See?
I think what everybody missing from the conversation is cookouts at an immigrant
Cookouts. I
household.
went to a Trinidadian cookout for it was
Cookout, yeah, yeah.
yes.
Move off the stage.
I was
Move
at
off the
home and I'll
stage.
tell you, I was at home. I didn't have no family. It was I think it was Easter. And my Trinidadian friend called me. He was like, "What you doing today?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. I'm at home. I'm not doing nothing." And he was like, "Yo, come
What
hang
his
out with me and my
family look
family."
like?
My family
What
from
his family look like?
they were dark skinned. They were
No,
Trinidad.
no, no. What was they? Okay, so
It was
I'm a really ask about featurism. What was their
oh,
hair texture like?
they were
Were they the Indian
no,
Trinidadians,
they
the
were
Spanish
black. They were
Trinidadians, or the
black.
Afro?
They were Afro.
Okay, and their hair was kinky coily,
Yes,
or it was
yes. The
okay. All
sisters,
right.
I was with the sisters. All of us was cooking in the kitchen. I was with all of them. They didn't treat.
She was a potluck. No,
I,
I'm just saying this. That you will find some nice Caribbeans, right? So
I
I
met a
don't doubt
lot of
your
them.
experience. But what I'm telling you is that there's it's a heavy colorist atmosphere here, and that some people who don't look like you may have a totally different experience. And I realized that talking to my friend with Trinidadian roots, and she has hair like Halo, right? And so people will ask her a lot, well, you're so beautiful, what are you mixed with? So when she's saying New York during a certain time period, like the 80s, was very inclusive and stuff on her block, I'm like, that wasn't my experience. I understand the segregation of New York, and I understand the microaggressions that some of us face, right? And I took that as me having the same experience as a friend who was telling me she never had it that way. So, but by a certain time period, like the 1990s, when everybody started saying the N word and stuff, somebody said my generation just got tired, and that's why the 90s was the way it was. We were more inclusive then. Our children could play outside together without us mean bugging each other and stuff like that, but we still face microaggressions today. So I'm saying you very well had the experience that you said you had. I can't take that away from you. I'm just trying to let you know that, but that's not like everybody's experience in New
Right.
York. And I
What
was
y'all?
trying
So
to
it
kind of
BX,
makes
let
get
me
me
into
think, what y'all
apologize.
the
doing, them people?
futurism
Nah.
aspect.
It makes me question y'all. Like, what y'all doing now? Because my experience, like I said, I went up there Southern. That's the name they called me, Southern. Now they did at one
Oh, they
point
called you
thought I
Southern.
was from Trinidad. They did. They used to think I was from the
See?
islands. But when I told them no, I'm from New Orleans, they was like, oh, cool. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even Haitians. We never had this conversation like with Haitians now. They never tried to
Because they
say
probably
my
thought
culture
you
was
thought you knew
theirs.
that.
This is all new to
I
me.
can't tell you.
Excuse me?
Right. I get it. I was gonna say yeah, because they probably were thinking that you understood their culture. Like y'all, they
No, I
really for
didn't have
some
no
reason
clue. We
think
never
that y'all
had
the
Women
these
same
offline, they
people.
never have this
we
conversation.
never had these
Like in face
conversations.
to face.
I'm gonna go on mute
When I
because I
said they
can't tell you
bow
your
down
experience,
face to
but they did
face.
think you were West Indian, Nola.
No,
See, I
at
had to get
one
it out of
just
So
you.
Nola, this one I want to tell you, Nola, right? The
because
Caribbeans,
New York is full of West Indians. Of course, they would think I'm West Indian. I
You
didn't
were in Brooklyn,
even
Nola.
when I was in
What
Jamaica,
part of Brooklyn?
Queens.
Flatbush? You was in
I
Flatbush?
was in East New York and Canarsie,
And Canarsie is
and I lived in Jamaica, Queens.
yeah. Jamaica. Okay. But they did think you were West Indian at first, correct?
Correct. Because, and I
All
understood
right.
why, because it's
That's
full
all.
of
That's
West
all I needed to
Indians.
hear.
But it's full
But
of
I'm
West
telling you, I
Indians.
didn't only have bad experiences with the Caribbean. My children are half Caribbean. I do say that you can have individual friendships, but collectively, they're not for you, right? Collectively, they're not for our people. And we could go to Yvette Clarke, Winsome Sears, and all these other people. Even my son, who has started a new career path, right?
Hmm.
He was so they all stood up. They was telling their ethnicities and stuff, and he said, "Yeah, I'm Black American, but my pops is Jamaican." And the man who's full Jamaican was like, "Oh, So they do tend to favor their own. The fact that they thought you were West Indian, this is not to take away from that they don't honestly love you as a friend, but it was that initial thought that probably gave them the, oh, she's cool, let me talk to her, find out more about her.
Right.
And that's all I'm trying to say. They do favor their own
They,
before anybody.
I can agree,
They do.
but
Hmm.
I mean, of course, they would think I was from some sort of island because it was full of island people where I was. So of course they were just
Right.
asking me where I was from. Are you from Trinidad? And I'll say, nah, the Hispanics gave me a hard time.
Of
Uh
course. Of course they did. You know,
the Hispanic women did not like me at all.
did they
Okay,
tell
so
you why?
They would come up to me, you speak Spanish? I would say no, they walk off. They would just walk off.
That's
And
why. And what's the term for
they thought I was
what's the term
Dominican.
for discriminating against language? Is there a specific term? Because I get that too, Nola,
Yeah.
from the Latino.
Yeah, they
but
thought I was Dominican, but they had pretty names for me. They used to call me Shakira.
do you think this? Wait, but do
That
you
ain't
also
funny.
Nah,
think this is how?
Shakira. They be like Shakira.
But wait, do y'all think this is how like New York, West Indies view Louisiana? Because I'm not even gonna count. Sometimes like for y'all for my Louisiana counterparts, I get y'all accents messed up for the Trinidadians as well sometimes. So it's like, do you think like, because you know how they have this like kind of claim that, oh hey, like West Indie folks build Louisiana, like you
No, we
think that
never
comes
talk
into
like
play?
that. They never we never had
I
those
don't get them
conversations.
mixed up. The
That's a dinner
Louisiana,
table
Louisiana,
conversation they ought if they
Louisiana
have.
dialect
And she wouldn't be at the
is
dinner
very
table
individual
at
to
that time.
themselves. I think this is what
Yeah.
we gotta kind of understand also is Caribbeans, right? The same way the Latinos and I kind of had to put this together. The same way Latinos suffer from major la reza, because we have melanated people in the Caribbean, they really are practicing the same type shit, but they're doing it in their own type of cultural practice, right? Where they do have this colorism that comes from this idea of major rareza, right? Even in Jamaica, the Haitians, the Trinidadians, well, all of them Hindu people and Chinese people in their on their country. So, Nola, you coming up here, um, I think BX. I didn't hear the part where you said it was Caribbean households you was going. I thought you said it was us that was bringing you in. But
And it was
when,
Caribbean and Africans. That's it.
but that's what I'm saying. But when you think of how Caribbeans and Africans want their family dynamic, they are always trying to find a more of a red bone person to try to have their sons or their daughters get have children with. They're
Yes.
they're not very attracted to the idea of chocolate babies.
But I'm talking
Like,
about, but Simon, they were women
She's just talking
too.
about friendship,
There were
honey.
women too
no, I'm
that
saying
invited me
both.
into the household.
So that's what I'm saying. So when their culture does that, it's really them trying to invite you in to try to court you onto one of their sons or something because you feel me?
No,
No,
really?
no, no,
To me that's how I look at
no.
it.
That's not my experience.
Okay,
So
I respect it.
no, I don't want to take. Go ahead, Afro. Go
I
ahead,
want to
Afro.
say, I mean, we do have to be honest that what we're dealing with right now when it comes to the hostility of immigrants immigrants just in general, just because of the fact that they've had to adapt and adjust. And I'm not just talking about African and Caribbeans. I'm talking about immigrants from Europe, immigrants from the Mexico, all immigrants by default. There's a level of adaptation and kind of concealing that they naturally have to adapt, right? So the immigrants of the past, they were less hostile. A lot of them, when they came over, a lot of them were less hostile. A lot of them were more friendly and welcoming, and they were new. Immigrants tend to act, and this is a weird phenomenon. Immigrants tend to act very differently when they start to get their numbers up. When immigrants start to get their numbers up and they feel like they have like a higher percentage in the area or whatever the case is, then they start to get a little bit more boastful. They get to showing their ass and stuff like that. This is what we're dealing with in this generation. Now we have a whole lot of very boastful, arrogant immigrants that that we're really not used to. This is why there was a Pan-African movement, because immigrants back in the 80s and 90s, even if they were disrespectful, they were not nearly as loudly and boldly disrespectful, just openly, as they are now, because they understood that they were in the minority, even though they still are in the minority. They understood that being in the minority and being an immigrant means that they had to conform. Now these immigrants, they don't feel like they need to conform to anybody. They feel actually everybody needs to start conforming to them. You know, it's a weird thing. And when it comes to the Caribbean, to be very honest, I've had most of the experience I've had with Caribbean people has been pleasant. I've had pretty great relationships with Caribbean people. It's weird because when they're by themselves, it's different. But once they start clicking up, you know what I'm saying? That's when they get into this like hive mind of tribalism and all of that stuff. When they start if you guys are following me, I'm not explaining it exactly the way I want to, but when they start growing their numbers and percentage and all that stuff, then they start kind of operating different, where they start like really clicking up, and they got this like colonizer thing going on.
No,
And
I was about to say, I know what you mean. I ain't mean to interrupt you, brother, but I know what you mean, because like one of my best friends in high school, I ain't know he was Jamaican, because every time we be together, like he like trying to get me to listen to Lil Boosie, and I'm like, nah, bro, but I do fuck with Boosie though, but like, so I'm thinking like he black, but it wasn't until like more Jamaicans start showing up, he claiming he Jamaican and shit. I'm like, what the fuck that came from? I thought you eat collard greens at the house. What's going on? So I do understand what you mean. My fault, Afro.
yeah, and when it comes to the Caribbean, and this is such a sad case because their oppression and what they've been through, they should be the most on code when it comes to immigrants, pretty much at all, period. But when it comes to Caribbean, and a lot of them gonna feel some type of way. A lot of them do have like this weird identity crisis. A lot of them do. So when they come over here, they're cool with us individually, but then when they get around their people, they don't want to seem like off code. They don't want to seem like, for instance, the best example I can use is like that one YT kid who super cool in school. He got black friends, but when he's around other Caucasian people, he acts racist because he doesn't want to be the N-word lover. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of that. If you notice with the Caribbean, like you be real cool with them, then when they get around other Caribbeans, they start switching up and acting different because they don't want to be seen like as the outsider. You know what I'm saying? So they have this weird identity thing because they feel like they're losing identity and they're being replaced and stuff. They psychologically, they got some stuff they got to work on, honestly. But
So I'm
listening
gonna
to
give
what you
y'all
said,
this
it does
example.
make sense. Like, yeah, that probably is. It's
And
probably
another
all of them
thing,
both.
Now, my friend from Nigeria, this what he told me when he knew I was from New Orleans, and all of them knew I was up there alone. They knew I didn't have any family, and like I said, they looked out for me. But he would tell me, he would say, "Well, you just like us. You know, you up here, you're by yourself, you're working." Because I worked 2 jobs at that time, and they had a lot of respect for me, especially the Nigerian. So, I mean, like I said, I didn't really have
Did he
issues with them.
emphasize
I'm
working
having an issue.
really?
Huh?
Did he emphasize working? You're up here, you're working.
Yeah, he was like, you know, I
Like
left
nobody else in the
home.
area
I,
was
I
working?
moved to a whole different state alone by myself. You working hard, trying to make it. He was like, you just like us. So maybe all of them probably felt that way about me, but he was one that brought that to my attention. And when Afro was speaking, that kind of made me remember what he told me. So yeah.
So I'm gonna give you my experience growing up. I had a few West Indian women in my life besides that I interacted with in some type of way, besides my foundational family, right? So my best friend, I told you, my childhood friend, who I was upset when they moved to the South when she was 14 and we got back in touch later on in life. Her mother would be considered multi-ethnic, like West Indian, Native, and full foundational Black American parent, right? So she does look ambiguous like you, like Halo, right? But she also has foundational Black American parentage. I did her genealogy, so I know their lineage, right? So I gotta say this. I call her my second mother, right? Even though she would be like my third, because I got my biological, my stepmother, her, right? But then there was another lady, right? Full, no foundational Black American, anything, full Jamaican, dark skin, coolie, with a soft textured, curly, wavy type hair. Do you know, me and her was the same complexion. One day we all wanted to go in her house to play. And one of my friends told me she didn't want me in the house. Like, why would you ask to bring that child in here? So this is why I asked you what type of hair they had. No love. You know, what did they look like? No love. Because they do have some weird type of featureism thing going on with them that they judge other people with. That's just my experience. So that's why I asked the questions that I did. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to find some genuine ones who really loved you. It sounds like you really did. Whether they thought you were just like them or not, or that New Orleans is kind of Caribbean so they understand you, they were who you needed them to be during that space and time. And if you still speak to them, fine. But what I'm saying is I'm not going to beat you up for your experience, but I don't want you to be fooled that these people, like Afro said, when they get their numbers up, they're going to show their ass. And when you're not around them, right, they're going to really show their ass. Like saying, I don't want that child in my house. And I know it was because of my lineage, right? So it is what it is. But she wasn't the only one on the block like that, as far as West Indians go. But for the same way I had the two West Indian people that I know just didn't like us for one reason or another, I did have the bi-ethnic, multi-ethnic, and another full Jamaican lady who, you know, she was loving to all the children in the community. So it is what it is. It's like a toss-up, a roll of the dice and shit. And that's why I said I'm so surprised at the Caribbean. I thought every demographic in New York, except for the African, because they just wasn't around us like that. And I even had to chase a white tea lady up the block. So I got jumped by the Jamaicans, for the Haitians, for Puerto Ricans, right? For my own kind, of course. But I'm really surprised at the Caribbean in all of this time. Because I know the good, the bad, the ugly, and the mediocre. So I know I'm pretty much a good judge of character when I say, leave that person alone because they're going to do X, Y, Z. This is how they are. And y'all come back to me. BX, you was right. I noticed patterns, y'all. So the Puerto Rican who acts like Zion is the same Puerto Rican I may live next to in the Bronx. They don't change no matter where they live. They still the same people, and they always give context clues. So I don't discount your experience, Lola, but see what you said about the Nigerian? I said, oh, he emphasized you work. You like us, you work. Like nobody else in the area was working. That's the first thing I thought of. But
No, I
you
thought the
had a
same thing,
beautiful
DX, when he
experience,
said
and
that.
because of your friends, you think we are running around here smelling like plantains. I gotta take umbrage with that.
Yes. I knew they were different. So when Shadowban was like, people in the South, we don't know the difference between the Black immigrants and, Black Americans. That's not true. Soon as I got there and I looked around, saw the people, I knew, I was like, they're Black, but they're not Black. Like they look Black, but they don't look Black. It's like I couldn't explain it to myself. And everybody spoke with an accent. And I was like, oh, they're from Africa. I thought everybody was from Africa.
What made you move to New York, though? I'm always
I had a
interested in the
homegirl.
Southeast up here.
I had a best friend. Now she lived in New Orleans, and she was from the Bronx. She was Puerto Rican. Now she was Puerto Rican, but she was Afro-Latina. And she always talked about New York this, New York that. When y'all come to the South, all y'all New York this and blah, blah, blah. I say, wow, I always wanted to go there. And so I just saved up money and I moved there. That's it. I saved up a whole lot of money because I had two good jobs here. And I just saved everything, moved all my furniture, just went up there. I had to find a broker to find me a house.
And different than the Black American experience. And the Afro-Latino, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
We calling them Afro-Latino, but the Afro-Latinos that I know, because of my spiritual practices, they ain't calling themselves Afro-Latina. They're just saying they're Latino. So, I mean, you saying, oh, she Afro. No, they just like Latino.
I consider her Afro-Latina because
Did she ever tell you she was Afro-Latina?
No, but she was darker than
Okay,
me.
see how that works?
She was darker than me, so Afro-Latina.
See how that works? I bet you she was running around talking about, where was she from? Puerto Rican. She might have even said, I'm Latino. But she ain't call herself Afro-Latina because they really do when they're comfortable. But when they're around us in their spaces, oh no, I can do that because I'm Afro-Latina.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of friends. I had a Somalian friend that was,
no,
but she was from Cali. She was
running around here talking about everybody else. She's a tether whisperer.
Who, me? Nah.
Yeah, you got all these tether friends.
Listen, I went up there and I just got in where I fit in. I had no choice. I was there. I wasn't trying to go home. No. She was
Where you live?
No, she was from Hawaii. Samoan. Yeah, she was from Hawaii.
Lola was
she
in
lived
the
in Cali.
gentrified part of Brooklyn. She done met everybody and their mama. I mean, half the people Nola met. I ain't meet an African.
No. The Samoan girl was from New Orleans.
No, she was
meet
a Somalian. I didn't even know they was in New York. And Nola done met them all.
No. She was in New Orleans. The Samoan, the Hawaiian chick.
A Somalian?
Yeah. No, Samoan. So
I'm going to mute for a minute. Afro, are you going to stay on the panel? Do you have to motivate? It's about 9 to 9:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I can stay for a little bit longer.
Okay. Y'all go ahead and finish the conversation. I got to run upstairs for a minute, and I'll be right back. Nola, you're a mod, so if anybody wants to come up that you recognize, right, then pull them on up to the panel, and I'll be right back. Good morning, Mary Rich Rising. Good morning, Phenom. Go ahead, Nola.
Yeah, but I mean, that's pretty much it. I just didn't want y'all to throw tomatoes at me because, the experience y'all have with immigrants, it just wasn't my experience. And I used to hang out with a ton of them, like a group of us. And I never felt like an outcast. I never felt nothing. I was there. So that's just my experience.
And that's good. That's good. I feel like, to be honest, there's been some things I've noticed, but my experience for the most part, when it comes to them, they've been cool too. I got some good experiences with some African people too. I mean, we cool and everything like that. So I know it's not like all of them. There's not all of them who are like that, you know. There's just this recent. Well, it's not recent, I guess, but there's a lot of open and very loud animosity that's come about, you know, and that's what we got to snuff down. You know, I'm not trying to sit up there and say they're all like that or all of them are thinking. Of course, they're all not. However, we just do got to keep an eye out. Just, you know, we got to keep an eye out for everybody. But yeah, I got some good relationships with Caribbeans, Africans, all that. You know, I think they're cool people. You know what I'm saying? Not just cool to me, but they just cool people. I think they're good people in general. The ones I know. My thing that I'm noticing though is that, and I feel like the reason why we're in this situation now is a few reasons. I feel like we've spoiled them with Pan-Africanism. I feel like Pan-Africanism, like for instance, the Dr. Umars and all of that, I feel like we don't know where we're from and we really want to be African. And when we're out there and we're wearing their flags and we're wearing their dashikis and colors and stuff like that, I feel like when we've done that, that's kind of spoiled them to a degree where we've put them on a pedestal. Before, when we weren't doing that, when they first got here and all that stuff, notice they weren't acting that way. But to a degree, like with the Pan-African movement, it's kind of conditioned them to have this entitlement and this bratty, really narcissistic almost behavior that we're dealing with. We're dealing with like the aftermath of a spoiled child that's grown up, you know, and that's because of the whole, you know, Africans really have culture and that's really where we belong. And the Pan-African movement, I feel like, has spoiled them. That's one factor. It's not the entirety of it, but I feel like
Hey,
that's one
Afro,
factor.
how do you think? No, I agree with you 100%. But what I think was the cherry on top, Pan Africanism was cool when our label was still black and Negro, right? Pan African was cool when our label was literally still Negro and when black was still connected to Negro. But that African American term, right? That's where the we don't have any culture came from. Because what it did, it took all of our accomplishments and all the shit we were, you know, accomplishing, and it took it from the Negro, and all of a sudden it's this monolithic African. Who are these Africans doing this stuff? Ever since that, when that African American label came into play, I think that's what kind of cherried the idea that the Black American Negro doesn't have culture. That's just my opinion. What do you think about that?
I would agree. I think that the African American label did a lot of harm because not only did it give them stolen valor, like you said, that's a big part. I would also add that it kind of like socially put us in the lesser than African position. It put them in they're the Africans of prestige and we're kind of like the lost Africans. You know, it put that in their head, and too many of us had put it in our head. And I think that with the like almost the second wave, because I feel like the Pan-African movement has had many different waves, right? So with the second wave of it, with the African American, and you know, we're really African, but we're kind of like the nobody Africans, and you guys are like the tribal Africans and the rich, and they had this like almost like this ancient cultural Africans and all that stuff that put it into this weird psychological pedestal and hierarchy, you know, that's really conditioned them, and now they acting Like they acting way out of character, or I guess not out of character, but they acting way out of pocket. But I
Afro, do
definitely
you
think that the
think that it's
African American
because
lives
we
are messed
have
up.
Afro? Do you think it's because we have like a new set of immigrants, foreigners that arrived here? Because, like I said, the ones that I dealt with, they were not like that. So it's like this new group that I guess migrated here. You think is them with this rhetoric, going against, the foundational people?
Yeah, I agree. We have to understand that their immigration has also happened in waves too, because there's been different policies. There's been policies where they were able to come in, and then some of them were able to, get different, work visas and everything, and then other ones were able to come in under asylum and refugee. So there's been every like 10 years or so, there was like a different wave of them coming in. And the most recent wave, and with that, with different policies, the immigration standards changed, and it got shifted. So the time period changed, the standards changed, the weight lift changed. So a lot of them started coming over. America started allowing a lot of them to come over, and a lot of the ones that they started allowing later on were a lot more conservative to their own traditions, a lot more tribal. America before were not really letting tribalistic people over here like that, for the most part. If you were coming over, you were going to conform. You were not doing all that tribalistic stuff, right? Then, with looser immigration policies and stuff like that started to come. So all of this stuff is a factor, right? Looser immigration policies and stuff like that. You started to see a lot more of the tribalistic ones start to come about and all that stuff. And then in the communities they cultivated, they started kind of like trying to almost convert the ones that were here, and it's a lot of infighting that started happening among the immigrant communities and as well too. So I do think that is a factor as well.
Can I chime in here? I think there's a multitude of factors. I think that Afro's right, they did come in waves, but and I'm going to speak for New York, right, and places where they did try to lock others out of home ownership, because it wasn't only New York. Washington was mentioned. So they've been in New York for 100 years. Right? We do know this because Marcus Garvey, around the time he came, at the same time we had the Latinos migrating here, and around the time the Southerners were migrating up here too, right? All around the early to mid 1900s, like so. I'm gonna say the Latinos were let in 1899, their elite, and then they got citizenship because the island was acquired around. So if that's around 1912, around that time. But everybody started migrating around that time. Marcus Garvey, who else I want to say? So when they acquired, didn't they acquire the Virgin Islands around the same time they acquired Puerto Rico? So we had all that happening. But we can't forget Yvette Clarke, who is ancient. I don't know how old she is, but she
Not
looks
ain't.
visibly Jamaican and visibly older. And her mother had that seat before her, Shirley Chisholm. She was in the government. So what I'm trying to say is, and then we can't forget, it's the first, second Jamaicans probably even have third generations here in New York, right? So in places like New York, they do get in first. They get in quietly. They may smile in our representative's face, right? Might make a whole bunch of promises, but when they get in there, they playing group economics. She got that seat from her mama, Yvette Clarke.
What I would say, but I think
Somebody said
Afro.
generational tethers.
But I think Afro is
Because I
right though,
did
because
come in at the tail end of that.
there's the
Well, I'm gonna say
assimilation
this real
part.
fast, Simon.
Go ahead.
Huh?
No,
I'm gonna say this
yeah,
real
go ahead,
fast
go
because I
ahead.
did come in at the tail end of it when y'all was talking about waves and when they get their numbers up. But I'm saying even the ones who are loners here, look at the positions they have. Who's taking the job? But the one lone Caribbean, who's taking the spot in school? Who's doing what else Jamaicans do? Well, I could say Jamaicans. The Caribbean does. I'm gonna say Caribbean. What they do, they'll work home care, weekend shifts, 20, that means you're staying with them. 24 hours, and you know they're taking a pay cut when ours is demanding a rightful pay. So it only takes one. That's why I told Sister Keita, and I saw her peek in. You got one Jamaican there now. Well, you got a few Jamaicans there in Michigan, one in Detroit and one in Flint, right? A club or something. The way you treat them will be how they take over. So be mindful.
And that's my point. It's I think Afro is he's diagnosing this thing correctly, if you ask me, because those early, when I look at the early immigrant small populations like Marcus Garvey and all them little ones that came, they were still under the assimilation rule, right? So not only did they have to be protected by Black Americans, they had to assimilate into the conversation and ideology of Black American. But thirdly, you got to remember the United States was forcing people to say the Pledge of Allegiance in school. You had to sing the Star Spangled Banner, Star Spangled Banner in school. So the children were assimilating, and they were not allowing you to teach your language in our schools to the next generation. And it also wasn't a job requirement to speak any other language in your job. When those next generations came over, and all of a sudden the Democrat Party started being more liberal, and they started, not liberal, moving towards progression, right? And they started allowing immigrants to feel like they should be represented. And this is after the Civil Rights Bill. This is all after the immigration bill that passed, where they then started allowing immigrants to not have to assimilate. When it comes to these new immigrants that's in our politics, that's why I think it is keen and very important for us to, once we get into our political position, we do need to introduce an assimilation bill, a U.S. assimilation bill, where the United States is put first and your language is put second. Pledge of Allegiance, Star Spangled Banner, you should have to know things, because it breaks your loyalty to your home country. People wonder why.
I mean, you're kind of breaking up there. Talk again.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Like 2 bars.
Or nah?
Yeah. Yeah, now.
You hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah.
Now, yes, I'm good. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think a assimilation bill has to be introduced, where you do have to understand who fought in our Constitution, who is the how to write a bill. We just have to just go back to our assimilation bills, because these the idea of assimilating is why you have immigrants today don't quite understand why Trump is president and why he's so American. It's because his parents that got here were forced to assimilate. Whether that assimilation was to become a business owner or join the Triple K to be anti-Black American, that was the American culture at the time. So they had to go against their loyalty to their home nation to actually be a part of this, American XYZ exceptionalism, right? I like American exceptionalism. I'm not against it. The thing is, these other American exceptionalism, because they're loyal to their home country. Because their home country is not. You just really have to listen to the terms and the words that they use, and they'll tell you their issue with America every time. Their homeland is not exceptional, and so they want to demonize our compete or compare. And so once we get these type of, this is all going to be us chipping away at this shit. This is not going to be done in one big bite of the sandwich. We're going to have to cook it, chew it, go on to the next bite, take another step, right? But then once we like get this make them start to assimilate, now we have to force them to never speak about these revolutionaries, these civil rights warriors, these Civil War warriors, these Buffalo Soldier warriors, if you're not a part of that ethnic group now. So you force them to assimilate, and then you force them to never speak on the ethnic group that they're not a part of either. So there's ways to do this. We just have to first understand, that our steps we have to become a political entity. That's why I do support the Freedmen Nation, because with me it was always, who's gonna do the paperwork? Who's gonna file these who's gonna be the legal arm, And I think they support all of our monikers, the FBA, Negro, Sulam, Aboriginal, like you name it, even African American is under their banner, American Negro, American Freedmen. But after that, when we become that political stance, we have to start filing our own paperwork also with each of our councils and stuff. And I'll land with that.
Thank you. I put your link to your delineation bill there. Also, I want to piggyback off of you and tell you that I'm with you. I don't want anybody talking on it. I don't want to hear, just like Black Americans, ISIS, the triple K. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. They're not having a Black experience here in America, right? They're having an immigrant in America immigrant experience. Our experience is unique to us, right? And it shouldn't be appropriated. They could start using the small hats for all I care, but don't talk about foundational Black Americans. We are in a different fight for centuries, and they throw that in our face every chance they get when they think we ain't falling in line with them, when they think it's going to be a aha statement that it's going to trigger us, Also, but really fast before we get to it, because I know that the Black American House has been trying to chime in. Afro Lee, if you see, I've been commenting my stickers. I need an upgrade on my stickers. But this is what the chat does. Like when you start talking, they'll look for your stickers and they'll start posting the little stickers there. So I got Chucky. I got a lady taking notes as Simon's talking. I think we should all have a notepad when he starts talking. A cool frosty drink. That's what I like when I go out, And that's me, BX, looking at the person giving the information, because what, is you serious? I might be saying, Tessa, is you serious? Is you cool, Tessa? So you just pick your graphic to your liking, and that's the spiritual side of me with my tarot cards. Yeah, I think that looks more like me than anything else. But there goes my books, 3-book series, Loving on the New York Hustler by Empress Simone, on Amazon, shameless plug. That's me and the American flag, because how dare they come here and act a fool? America first. And these are the lady to the right of this black and white picture is actually my second great grandmother from Alabama. And she was a principal of the school. So that's me venerating my ancestor with her stickers. And that's the typical Nigerian immigrant going to find himself a fat white T-girl. And that's it. So that's what I wanted to show you, Afro. That's what we do when people are talking. We just drop their stickers down there and stuff. But get some really up-to-date, cool graphics. And you're pretty good with the graphics, so I know you'll have some nice stickers. Oh, I landed Afro.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna look into that. As well as when it comes to assimilation, we have to understand, as far as this history in its, as far as this country and its history with discrimination, we have to remember there was a point in time when political parties really they used buffer classes, but it wasn't until the late or the turn of the century where you saw buffer classes really after the civil rights movement. Okay, and even later after, like towards the the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, where you saw they really, really started to amp up the use of buffer classes, because before, um, how they saw it is pretty much anybody who's not YT is an other. There's YT others, and then there are blacks, and the others weren't really treated. They were just treated like others. They weren't treated like blacks, but they were treated like others. It wasn't until later on when they started kind of weaponizing different buffer classes. You know what I'm saying? And then they started to use different policies that would elevate other groups of people, which would incentivize their compliance and allegiance against black people. Like, for instance, when we talk about Asians being the quote unquote model minority, they were not that for a very long time. For a very long time, they were seen as communists. They were seen as terroristic. They were seen as un-American and all of that. It wasn't until the end of really the civil rights movement and us fighting for legislation and us getting included into certain spaces that they start using like Asian Americans to be, well, we can elevate them and they'll be more compliant, and that way we can use them as a buffer class. So then once they started really, was the Democratic Party, once the Democratic Party really started utilizing buffer classes, there was this huge competition for everybody to climb the social ladder of being a buffer class. The Hispanics, the Asians, the Africans and Caribbeans, everybody started to be the quote unquote best of the buffer classes.
Thank you for joining, Nola. Go ahead, Apple.
So that's another thing that we have to understand. There was like a governmental incentive that was given to be a buffer class, to be treated better than an other. Okay, it's like you kind of you're not YT, but you're gonna be pretty comfortable, and everybody wanted that comfortability for their group of people, for themselves and their group of people. And that comfortability came with the price of making sure that your socioeconomic place in this country subjugated black people. It was an impediment to black progress. And I'll end there.
Hey, Afro. I have another. It's not on me. Black American, you wanted to talk? I don't want to, yeah, because I like talking in BX room because she got a small. I know it's private, so I could kind of like swing a little bit. Go ahead, Black American. I don't want to. If you had something to say. All right, now going once. All right. Well, let me know if you want to talk, Black American. I yield you the floor. So Afro, also what I want to also take that needs to be addressed is what I've noticed these melanated immigrants are doing in this wave of the conversation is they want to compare themselves to early white and Ellis Island immigrants, right? That's I've been noticing that's their little that's another. Just be prepared for that because they'll go, well, what about the white immigrants? What about them? What about those white immigrants? Are you them? They want to have some type of alliance to try to convince the white Americans that they can also be a proper immigrant, right? And yes, and even with that elevation from the Asians to the Hispanics to the LGBT, and now they're trying to elevate the Caribbean and the African. This is why delineation is very important at this time, and I think their biggest issue, particularly for all immigrants combined with that Democrat Party, is we lived our fool me once. Obama was a fool me once. Kamala Harris was supposed to fool us twice, right? And we proved, you only get to fool us once. We showed you're only gonna fool us once. Um, and that was for everything. We see what you wanted to do. We see your disrespect, and because we caught the Obama fool me once, um, this is where I think there's a big pushback. When it comes to delineation, Black American politics, how we now are not only just politically moving, but operating in our business. With them always saying, "Oh, you don't own nothing." Okay, yeah, we own a lot. It's you probably don't see it, and I do blame Pan Africanism, because what happened was all of our businesses started sharing funds with immigrant communities instead of just locking in and being xenophobic. Listen, I don't argue against nothing that they say. Call me xenophobic, I'm gonna break that shit down, flip it, put it right back on your table. I don't argue with that. You call me divisive, I'm gonna break it down, flip it, put it right back on your table. Call me a U.S. exceptionalism, yes, whatever. I'm gonna break it down, flip it, put it right back on your table. So even when even when they say we don't own nothing, well, you know what? No, we own a lot of things. What we don't actually do is do business with each other at the height that we should do, ethnicity wise. Black American business at a larger, moving forward in a larger percent, we need to work more with other Black American businesses. It's literally on some ethnic shit the same way they do, right? And then that'll destroy that whole little argument, because our businesses, we do have many businesses out here, but once we stop inviting people into our ethnic economic circle, oh, you'll see how many businesses that we do own, how many homes that we do have, how many real estate agents we do operate in, how many doctors and lawyers, entrepreneurs, engineers, inventors, that are actually, yes, your everyday. And guess what? And I still wear a motherfucking hoodie, right? I do all this shit and we still dress how we dress in our street clothes. Yeah, yeah, we take it from the bottom to the top. You know what I'm saying? So it's that part that I just and I guess that's why I be having a lot of this energy, because I see a great path moving forward through the shield and sword swinging that we got to do on behalf of our lineage and our heritage. Shit, I still see I see green grass, baby, like for real, because I feel empowered to work with my ethnic group, and I know I'm not the only. I'm of an ethnic group of geniuses, and that's just how I feel. And I know if we maneuver that into being the face of our ethnicity, like we are an ethnic group of geniuses, this whole nation has no choice but to understand, like, yo, yeah, we Americans. And I'll land with this. That's another thing. When we move past Pan-Africanism, they don't like that we have a default of, yeah, I am American, actually. I'm not a Pan-African. I'm not an African American. When it all boils down, when everybody's done crying, when all the planes are done crashing, I'm an actual American. And that's something that really does hurt their spirit. And I'll end with that.
Thank you, Simon. Black American House, are you available? Okay, so I'm gonna get ready to wind it down. I do want to read about Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield. I did pick her out, but I want to say this. I did tell everybody that my son is embarking on a new, career endeavor, right? He's officially in leadership, y'all. So that's what he's being trained in. I'm so proud of him, right? Wow. And they did have to identify, their ethnicity and stuff. He said for the most part, everybody identify properly. So he is learning from these panels, right? And I did tell you, though, he did notice that the full Jamaican, when he said, his father was Jamaican, the difference there. And as I thought about it during the course of the night, I said, son, in New York City, there's a narrative going around that your ancestors did not build this nation. And especially they're saying that they did not build New York. The mayor said that. You saw that. He said, yeah, Mom. I said, well, your sixth great grandmother actually predates New York. And I explained to him where she was buried and stuff like that. And that it was people like her siblings, and other enslaved and black and free black people that were here that built it. And I said, at some point in time, you may have to come across some people who may say, well, New York was really built by immigrants. I said, now you don't got to get gangsta and all that. He's not that type of child anyway. I say, and you have a totally different demeanor than me, but I very well expect you, as well as your ancestors do, to just simply tell the truth. Your ancestors built this nation, and they ain't the immigrant side of you, right? And I said, and after you give them the initial introduction to your ancestors, if they got any questions, you could refer them to me. So I get a message when he's leaving, and he says, after he left, he texts me. He says, don't go out the back door because there's a skunk in the yard. I said, a skunk? What the skunk was doing? Oh, he was just walking back and forth. I said, oh, he ain't spraying nothing? No, Ma. I'm just saying don't open the door. So me, I always go to what does this animal mean spiritually, right? And y'all got to see what the skunk means, y'all. So the skunk's spiritual meaning centers on self-respect, confidence, and establishing firm personal boundaries without aggression. And I did tell him he didn't have to get all loud and stuff, like I would, It's a way that he could perfectly stand up for the ancestors without fighting about it, right?
I never knew that's what the skunk. Go ahead, sis. Nah, I love that.
Yeah, I'm
love
going further. Listen. Often seen as a symbol of unapologetic authenticity and quiet strength, the skunk encourages honoring your own needs and protecting your energy. It reminds us that true power comes from within, not from loud confrontations. It might be for me too, y'all, because, sometimes I get rowdy on these apps, right? But I think it's for both of us, but I'm going to go just a little bit deeper. And it says, key spiritual symbolism of the skunk: boundary setting and protection. I did tell him to speak up for his ancestors. That's a form of boundary setting and protecting his ancestors. So it says, just as a skunk uses its sin to deter threats, it represents the right to protect your personal space and emotional energy. It teaches you to stand your ground calmly. Confidence and self-respect. Skunks are fearless, walking with the confidence that they can handle threats. It encourages owning your space without needing to prove yourself to others. Authenticity and individuality. A skunk represents living authentically and embracing your unique qualities, even if it means standing apart from the crowd. Non-aggressive power. Skunks rarely use their spray unless necessary, preferring to warn predators first. This highlights the ability to use respectful or reputable power, commanding attention without unnecessary violence. Rebellion and self-reliance. It can symbolize a healthy rebellion against societal norms. Yeah, and I was just telling him the night before, I told him I made a promise to the ancestors to be their voice, and you are socializing now amongst a different demographic outside of your family, in a city where they're trying to erase your ancestors. I expect you to be their voice. And then he saw the skunk today, y'all. Y'all get it? Do y'all see what I see? Son?
I'm picking it up. I'm picking up what you putting down. I'm with it. I respect that. That's good spiritual research.
Confirmation.
Yeah, it's good confirmation.
Yeah, I like to call it confirmation. Afro, are you there? Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, I heard it. I think that's deep. I've never heard of that before, so okay. That's interesting information.
Yeah. This may not have been a first time a skunk was around, but it was the first time for me. I ain't never seen a skunk out here before. And my son is very in tune with animals. He gets upset when animals go extinct. He start cursing at humans, you know. And it's always the white tea people making them go extinct. So I don't feel no way about it. I always thought it was kind of weird. But that's how he understands ethnogenesis. He says if you take, I'm going to say black bear. If you take a black bear and two black bears and you put one over here and one over there, one has to adjust to the new climate, and so now you can no longer call a black bear a sun bear. Like, this is how he explains it. He had a very good conversation with a panel that was held on FBA 40's Live. They were talking about snakes, what stresses them out. The stuff he knows is amazing, and I'm looking at him like, oh, now I gotta check his book back. Don't be bringing none of these animals in my house. But yeah, he's very much into animals and stuff. So I just took it as a confirmation today. And I do that a lot when he says he sees animals. I look up their spirituality and what that means. And you could do that also if you have a dream about certain animals. Just ask them spiritually, what does that mean in your dream? Because the ancestors are talking, y'all. It was confirmation for him. And he probably was wondering, dang, you know, do I want to make mommy man or do I want to speak up? You know, so this was confirmation for him that he could respectfully and without aggression be the voice for his ancestors when he's going to be around people who may very well say, immigrants built this nation. I got to prepare him for that. Also, I realized why these Latinos are running around here on the panels acting all wild and crazy, and some of the other immigrants too. I went to Facebook and I've been looking at some videos of them. They a fucking mess. They are really wild. I don't even want any of my children on the train with them. My older children are fighters. The one here with me, he's a fight if you bother my mother, my grandfather, or my siblings, right? But he's not looking for confrontation. He's very helpful, right? And so I don't want him in any weird position, right? And I'm like, now I got to really get a car because I'm going to drive everybody to work, back home. Like, they are fucking so on these, and I'm like, where are the parents? Where are the cops? How did New York get this way? I must have been in a slumber, y'all. They are literally out of control, and I can say that it's not all of them, but the majority is not of those wilding out. Just ain't our children. I don't see our children there. I don't. Thank God for that. But this is how New York is. It needs some straightening. And so we do need people who will be in spaces to keep the memory of it's too many of our ancestors alive. They don't have to be aggressive with it. And we got to think about carpooling for my parents who have older children that you just don't want them on the moving concrete jungle transportation. That's what it is. I gotta be honest. Cause y'all see, I be at a loss, like what they talking about? Especially if you was on Shavu's Live. But they don't act like that. I went to the video. They all wild. It's the youth, the younger generation, the school age kids. One even had a poker, like, what? Get off the bus, I'll poke you. And I was like, hold up. I don't want my child in any compromising positions. I don't even know why I'm speaking on it. But I got to be honest about New York. Mass transit is a hot mess. They want to raise the prices and the children are out of control. I don't even know how the older people are sitting there. I don't want my daddy on the train. He's 80 and he will take the train from Yonkers and travel all the way to Far Rockaway, Queens. He just got to be active. But at this point in time, New Yorkers, okay? I don't know. I'm with Simon. I'm with whoever said we got to get stuff in legislation. Mass transit got to be addressed too, because we don't need our elders who are active like my dad on them trains, and we don't need our young folks who just want to go to school being harassed either. Goodness gracious. Now, I'm going to go to Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, and then we could get out of here. She was famously known as the Black Swan, right? And so the resource says, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, famously known as the Black Swan, was a pioneering 19th century concert artist whose career was deeply intertwined with New York's cultural history. She's from Philly. Oh, wait, she was born in Mississippi. Okay. Personal background. Birthplace. Born into slavery in Natchez, Mississippi, circa 1817 through 1826. Parentage. Her father's surname was Taylor and her mother was Anna Greenfield. Her mother was reportedly of mixed African and Native American descent, while her father, why they listing this man as African? Y'all believe
That's what
that?
happened when Obama. All right. I'm glad you did that. That's what happened when they started calling us African American and they removed the term black and Negro. When they removed Negro, they started literally going into our definitions of our ancestry and calling them African. That man would have been classified as a ex-slave or a Negro man prior to that. But so that's just a harm that we're going through. That's just another harm that we may be able to charge. Where he's from, Kenya. Yeah, Kenya may be, and Obama may be able to get sued directly. Shit like that. But yeah, that's what that is.
Wow. And the Black American House is confirming what I said because he just visited New York. He says, oh Lord, I rode the train up there and there's some wild things that go on there. So I'm going to say this. New York, you'll find that because people are telling me, BX, I want to come up there. And so if you're looking to shop with or go into establishments such as, they have a lot of things like roller skating, bowling, movies, what was that? Some other things some people wanted to do. I'm gonna say the only thing that may be primarily owned by us are the restaurants. I'm not sure about the clubs. I'm out of the club scene, y'all. Been out of it for years. But I'm trying to say to y'all is, don't let my frustrations with my city, where I've seen the change of everything, stop you from coming to experience New York. Just come with an open mind that you may not be specifically just supporting your own, but you're coming here for the history of it, or you can go to the various places that they have dedicated to the ancestors. Sadly, some will be labeled as African. Some will be like the African burial ground. We have the ancestors who were attached to landmarks like the White Co-op House. There's the other place and the other place, or you can go to one of our museums that'll teach you the real history of New York. So there's a multitude of things that you can do here. Come up here around the time that it's warm. Have a cookout. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do meet and greets. Connect with me if you want to do an event, an FBA only event, because I got to tell y'all, and I got to be honest. People will hold secret animosity towards you and smile in your face right here on these panels. So I'm down for Zoom calls, but I'll even do an event where we're putting on for the city. But the meet and greets, I'd had heard of 3, and so far, all 3 had some, no, I heard of 2, and so far, all 2 at some level of somebody not getting along because it was probably too much alcohol involved, some carrying over feelings from arguments of the past. If you want to do business and have an event for the lineage, that's fine. But I ain't going out with you for cocktails because I don't know if you like me in real life. But I know you love me when I'm standing on lineage business, okay? That's all I got to say about that. But don't let my frustration with my city stop you from coming to experience my city. As you see, Nola had a very good time. She met some Africans, some Trinidadians. She was just a good old tether whisperer eating some plantains. But yeah, you'll find some really cool things to do here. We also have culinary icons. Sylvia's Melba just made history. She's the only Black American with a station in Times Square. And Melba's is Sylvia's, I think, daughter or niece, right? So you'll find that. Shanae's, she's connected to Sandy Ground, the historical site over that our ancestors developed along with the Snowden, Maryland ancestors, and she owns a restaurant and she's doing very well. The mayor, whether I like him or not, visited her establishment. So there are Black American businesses to support. We'll have Melrose Radio. Melrose Radio would more than likely tell you if there's a Black American owned bar or lounge here if you want to go chill there. Auntie can't tell you that because Auntie been out them streets, right? I ain't looking for a bar lounge. I go, I eat some seafood and have a pina colada. That's what I do. But come visit New York, just don't take mass transit. If I'm driving by then, maybe I'll be your chauffeur for the night for a small fee, of course. Support Black American business. Let me finish reading about Miss the divine honors to the ancestor Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield. So okay, they labeled them African. I believe they want to say Black American, but Simon explained that. So her early life, at about a year old, she was brought to Philadelphia by her enslaver. I knew there was a Philly connection. And her enslaver's name was Elizabeth Holiday Greenfield, who eventually freed her. Marriage and children. She never married and had any children. I wonder, at about a year old. Okay, so she wasn't in slavery that long. Oh, well, they said who eventually freed her. Okay, so what I was thinking, y'all, is when the ancestors were enslaved, they may have had children that were taken away from them, but later on in life, they may be recorded as not having children or something like that. Y'all think that was possible? Because I'm just thinking that that's possible. Simon, Afro.
I'm sorry. What was your question?
My question is because they said that Elizabeth was brought to Philadelphia by her enslaver at 1 year old, but then it goes on to say that Elizabeth never married and never had any children. But if she was enslaved, right, could it have been like she had some children that were sold off or taken from her, and then therefore, after emancipation, she never found. Like, I'm just wondering if the ancestors could have had
Never connected
babies
to
in
her.
enslavement and
Yeah,
after.
I look.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, when it comes to parts of our history, all of our imagination is accurate in some of these descriptions. It can even just be he was so um yeah, I wouldn't say it's inaccurate to think that way, but if that's how the ancestors kind of guide you to think. But um yeah, I always like to say that when it comes to slavery, we know it was think of your worst event, and then understand slavery was 500 times worse than that. So I was like, think of the worst thing. So I don't judge people for their imaginations when they're reading up on things, you know when they're led to kind of fill in certain blanks. But yeah, she probably, yeah, it's not too. I wouldn't say it's far fetched at all.
Thank you.
Now, you said she came here when she was. I'm getting the dates. I wanna be clear on the dates. When did she get here? You said she got
Oh,
there at
okay.
1 year old or
She
something.
She was born in Natchez, Mississippi between, well, they say circa, so that's around 1817 through 1826. They label her parents as one as African and Native American descent and her father as African. That's when I stopped and Simon was saying that's around the time. That's probably due to Obama removing Negro, and so now everybody's listed as African. But her early life, it says at about a year old, she was brought to Philadelphia by her enslaver, Elizabeth Holiday Greenfield, who eventually freed her, but they don't give no emancipation date on her freedom.
Oh, and you were saying that they don't have any, or the records say that she doesn't have any children.
Right, or marriage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are. It could have. It could have been the fact that back during that time, if it doesn't say when she was freed or whatever the case is, there were if she did have a child, she could have kept the pregnancy secret and then had the child without the, because technically you were, your child, if you were enslaved female, your child would be the property of the slave owner. So she could have had her child in secret and then gave her child to a family member or something like that. She could have gotten married and then that just never been documented. So it's a lot that could have happened. She might not have, but there's a lot of, it's a lot that could have happened.
Yeah. So thank you, y'all. I'm gonna touch on her New York career ties because I'm still trying to destroy the narrative of Tetherville and show that foundational Black Americans were the ones who built New York, set the culture of New York, and that would include our civil rights and our suffragist movement, and of course the abolitionist movement. So her New York career ties and timeline. Greenfield's professional accent was defined by her breakthrough performance across New York State. It says performances across New York State. So in 1851, she had her Buffalo debut, which launched her professional concert career. And that was with the Buffalo Musical Association. Duty. She performed a wide repertoire, including opera, it says opera arias, sentimental parlor songs, and hymns. Impact. She was the first, and here they call her Black. She was the first Black woman to appear in concert in Buffalo, where a reporter dubbed her the Black Swan, to contrast her with white singer Jenny Lind, the Swedish Nightingale. So she was the Black Swan, and Jenny was the Swedish Nightingale. 1851 through 1852, upstate New York tour. Following her success in Buffalo, she toured several New York cities, including Rochester, Utica, Albany, and Troy. 1853, New York City debut, performed at the Metropolitan Hall on March 31st, 1853. Duty, she was the headline vocalist for a high-profile fundraising concert for her European tour. Impact. The venue initially barred Black patrons, leading to protests. She later performed a benefit at the Broadway Tabernacle for the Black community. 1853, political involvement. Ran as a candidate for Canal Commissioner on a women's rights ticket alongside Susan B. Anthony in Albany, New York. Susan B. Anthony was also hooked into Sojourner Truth and stuff. Okay, Deyoda. And then 1860s philanthropy, organized and performed in numerous charity concerts in Buffalo and New York City. Duties. Used her voice to raise funds for, and they used the term, African American. I'm going to go ahead and read it again. Duties. Used her voice to raise funds for Black American orphanages and the Buffalo Freedmen's Aid Society. I'm going to look into the Buffalo Freedmen's Aid Society and see what they were doing at one point in time and see what happened to it and if it was talk of it being revived again. And that's it. Is there anything else you want to know about her? Like the question says, would you like more detail on her 1854 command performance for Queen Victoria or her work as a vocal teacher in the later years? You know, it's weird. There's this music that I have playing in the background, and y'all are just sitting there, and I'm looking at y'all. Let's see what happened when she played for 1854 Queen Victoria. And then we'll go to her teaching, and then y'all can go ahead and get on out of here and go tear them panels up or handle your business. Deanna, you came back. What happened? You told Halo on me?
Yeah.
You told on me?
Yes.
And what she said? She on her way?
No, she is not currently on her way, but she will give you a stern talking to later on today.
Okay. All right. That is, and it's not generating the answer. Okay. I'll deal with it when the time comes. I will. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. And then hopefully it'll generate. Now you know you wasn't over there telling on me, Dayo.
Nah. She did
Ava
tell
might be asleep. She usually peeks in when I'm live. I didn't see her peek in yet.
Nah, she busy right now, so she not coming. She not even picking up my phone calls. Yeah, that's. I got to tell her Miss BS. So she not picking up my phone calls right now. Handle that for me.
And you really over here complaining? Good morning, Pamela.
A little.
Oh, well, look at that. They're not generating any more information about the great ancestor, Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield. And so that was my woman for today. Tomorrow I have Sarah J. Tompkins. Forget me. I believe it's Garnett. Garnett. Yes, can't forget that. That's my birthstone. So tomorrow, Afro Elite does plan to visit once again with his Black American woman of choice. This is officially Foundational Black American Women's History Month. You know, we put our own spin on things around here, and our history cannot be held in just 1 month. So I usually do like Black History 365, but they reminded me it was Women's Month, so I'm using women who were instrumental in New York, whether politics, civil rights, suffrage, abolition work, whatever.
Hey, Sister BX, you said something
Educated.
earlier
Yeah, what
about the prompt. You said I came in late. You was explaining how you made this beautiful prompt. There was like can you tell me real quick again? Or do you want putting it in the
Sure.
back channel?
No. I want everybody to have a beautiful prompt, right? And they do get on us about our spelling, even our own people. And if you use Gemini, if you go and you click Gemini will create a nice prompt, but it's always some misspelled words. The more you ask them to fix something, the worse something else gets on it. But by a fluke, I just thought I was on Gemini, but was actually on Google AI overview mode and asked them to create me an image of Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield with the tools that she used during her career. So you see the book, you see the sheet music with the feather pen. I guess the philanthropy would be the handshake, and then the black swan there and the microphone. A very nice, very beautiful picture. But when I used the AI overview and gave it, like, put a red banner with gold letters and let it say, it doesn't have one misspelled word. So AI overview on Google creates beautiful graphics, no misspelled words, but I gotta tell you, you can't overfeed the description box. You gotta put one element at a time. So the bottom banner where it says support indie grassroots journalism, help me amplify voices, contact me if you would like a free interview, stuff like that, And then it has, if you would like to support my platform, it has my Cash App. Yes, I'm an independent journalist. I incur all costs. So I do put my Cash App there. That was actually done separately. And what I did was, because I didn't want to risk messing up such a beautiful portrait of Elizabeth, beautiful creation, her image, I just took the frame of the bottom that says Happy National Foundational Black American Women's History Month, and then used the markup option, and then put that frame right there at the bottom. I did that myself, y'all. My graphics is improving. I suck on graphics, y'all, but AI overview for me was the truth, and it created this lovely prompt, Simon. If you pay for Gemini, I believe the AI overview is kind of attached to it. It's also attached to Canva, but just enter in what you want on the prompt. Just don't overfeed it too many words or elements, and see how it works out for you.
All right. Appreciate that.
Why you yawning when I'm talking? I don't know.
Oh no, I didn't know I was. I thought I was still on mute. Nah, thank you. I was
Good morning,
listening.
Miss Simone.
But yeah, sis, I'm a slide real quick. I guess my
Afro blasphemy.
yeah, my I guess my woman of the day, is gonna be Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield. As you said, I'm just gonna go with the woman that you're celebrating right now. We'll celebrate her. Shout outs to the ancestors.
Cool. You're gonna come tomorrow. Afro, do you have a time? And he goes on teacup. Do you have a time, Afro, for tomorrow that we could sit here and honor the ancestors that y'all choose to?
I feel like this time is good. This would be a good time.
I think so you want me to start at 10? Because I think I've been up since like 8 on live.
And you was up late last night, BX. When do you sleep?
I do fall asleep. Sometimes it'll be sleep on somebody's platform. So you'll think BX is up there, alert, and BX be back here sleeping.
Okay. Okay.
So I started the live like 7:30, 7:45 in the morning.
Okay.
But what time would you like me to start?
Probably about this time, like around, what time is it now? Well, it's almost 10 o'clock where I am, so yeah, about this time. Because I don't want to say 10
Okay,
and
I
then
might start
you thinking your 10. So about
Oh, you want 10 your time?
yeah, about this time.
Okay. No problem. I might start just a little bit earlier because I like to get my lives out the way for the other fellas that come behind me.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. So thank you for joining, Afro Lee. Any last words for the live?
No, this was pretty good. It's very informative. We had some pretty good conversation. So looking forward to the next one. You know, it's good to have these lives where it's kind of just like a safe space and we just chopping it up with the family. It's really refreshing.
Yeah. Very much so. I agree. So I want to thank you, Afro, for coming to visit, all the panelists and everybody in the chat. Yes, your auntie be up, Nola. So tomorrow, meet me back here 10 Central Standard Time, which would be 11 Central Standard Time. And come with a Black American a Black American woman of your choice to honor during Women's History Month. And you know what? It could be local to your area. It doesn't have to be specifically for New York. That's my theme, to honor the ancestors that put in work in this city and state, so that Ma'am Danny can stop saying it's built by the immigrants. Oh, Afro Lee, you saw the so y'all know I've been doing the email campaign, make Ma'am Danny take back his words, do a retraction, that the city was not built by immigrants, right?
Yeah.
He did give a mini interview, and he did mention an apology because the reporter asked him, "What do you think, Afro Lee?" I don't want to take too much credit because she, I guess she claims to be a Black American. But I do think that my email campaign was a spark. What do you say?
I agree. It was definitely a factor. Unfortunately, you'll never be able to find out exactly how big of a factor it was, but it was definitely a factor, you know, around in that area and everything like that. Even if that wasn't the cause of why she did it, it definitely, I would say, even if, let's say she wanted to do it just because of that, it was definitely the push he needed. I feel like your thing was more about him than her. So she might have did it just because she wanted to do it. But I feel like your email campaign put the pressure on him to really come correct.
So this talks, Afro. I'm happy that he made the attempt. However, the verbiage. Black Americans did help Black New Yorkers. It's certain verbiage that, and the link is in the chat. Y'all can still sign it, y'all. He does need to be on a bigger platform to me, and the verbiage should still make a distinction between us and Black immigrants, especially in New York. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. And then I don't like when he said helped. Like he needs to be kind of real. He really needs to be schooled on that, you know, because when he said, you know, we helped, is almost as if we were all in here doing the same thing at the same time together, and we all put into the pot equally. And no, we laid the groundwork, and then everybody came later. That's how that worked out. So, if anything, you can say I wouldn't even help. I don't even know if that would be the correct word to use for them, you know, because you can say help with what? I guess you can say the economy. I guess you can say help. Let me not be like that. But if anything, you could say they helped. We didn't help. We were the initiators, you know. So I don't like he put it like that. Like he tried to make it all even and give everybody the same amount of credit. I didn't like that. But you know,
Me
he does.
either.
We still got to keep the pressure on him too, because it's not just him who says that. AOC says that. You know, so that's a narrative. He's not the first one to say that. So that needs to be a correction. That needs to be really hammered.
Right. And so my email campaign is still going. There's the link in the chat, y'all. Just hold down my comment, copy it to your clipboard, then go to your search browser. And it's very easy. There's one more thing before I let you go. So you had a live on YouTube, a call-in show. I really like it. I just don't think that we should do it after TikTok. But so you can have more time, because your followers really, really want to talk to you, right? Very interestingly enough, when I was frustrated with New York, that was one of the first things I came on your platform, and said to you and kind of vented and let you know where my headspace was at. But on your YouTube was an elder, I want to say, who was saying she teaches her children. She did admit that she's still a Democrat, but she doesn't want to give them her vote unless, you know, she's getting something. At this point, I think everybody needs to make a mass exodus out of that party. It doesn't mean you have to go into what's that Republican? You have Founders Party, which is the Redemption Party. You have the Independent Party. You have all these other parties. Hell, be a part of the non-party voters category, which I am in, right? I think for the most part, they don't deserve our numbers. They don't deserve, Black Americans or Black people support Democrats at a rate of 90-something%. No, they need to see 80%. And then throughout the course, as time goes on, they need to fall down to 50, 40, 30. Like, they need us to get out of there so they can understand we're serious. But I ain't going to get on her about voting. That's just my suggestion to her. But Afro, what do you think about people that are still a part of the Democrat Party but still frustrated? Also, if you could tell her to kind of like tap in with me or Brother Melrose Radio, ask her if she did, just so we could kind of pull her into the fold to let her see that we're trying to make change. I know you could tell her about Sister Brooke and Brother Divine, but in the interim, if they're too busy or whatever, just give all our names out. And it's very important that the elders who come to you who are feeling frustrated and voice it, if you could point them like in our direction. You did that yesterday, but you ain't say BX. You ain't say BX. Afro.
Well, yeah, I get you.
Yeah. But no, what do you think about those who are still attached to, and good thing you didn't, because you know sometimes BX be a little moody. They got to really tell me they from YouTube, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll trust you. I just deleted like 400, I got to tell you, 400 follow requests because
Damn.
it's too much lineage going at each other. And even though I don't post private information, people still find a way to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? So I just protect my peace at all costs. It's not that I don't want to be friendly and stuff like that, but in order for me to keep going this route that I'm going, completing the mission that I have to be the ancestors' voice, and that means everything that I'm doing here is all for the good of the lineage. I can't have no distractions. Wondering if she gonna sneak me because she friends with that one and this one and that one be doxing. I just don't want to go through it. But if you direct somebody to me and say, hey, follow BX, you know, just say BX, you know, my support is coming. She's from New York and she's frustrated. And I'll be like, oh, okay, no problem.
Okay, all right. As far as people who are still a part of that party, we do need to let them know that there is alternative, because I guess it's a start to not be 100% loyal and to show frustration, but we really do need to show people that there are alternatives and there are ways that you can, that you can leave. That is the smartest thing to do, to leave. That's the smartest thing to do, is to get up and leave the party. The thing is that there's too many black people, and I was talking to Ms. Jackson about this a few months ago. There's too many black people that no matter what, they have this, almost PTSD of Donald Trump. And if you say Republican, they're going to be like, no, absolutely not. Never, 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 never. So we have to let them know that by leaving the Democratic Party, that doesn't mean you are going to be a Trump loyalist, and that you're going to turn a blind eye to anything Donald Trump does or the Republicans do. So we got to inform people on other options, and to inform people on the fact that, like you said, just being a part of the party can kind of help them when it comes to advertisement, when it comes to funding, when it comes to all of that stuff, because then because they can use that to leverage to donors. Like, oh, we have these many registered voters in the state. So they use that so they can kind of leverage that to different donors and sponsors and things like that. But even if those people aren't actively voting, they're registered. So they'll advertise it and they'll make themselves seem bigger than they are. And that really does help us to know exactly where we stand when it comes to, voting for the couch and everything. So she definitely does need to leave. I don't know. I've never been registered with any party, so I'm not sure what the loyalty is that they have. It's something weird. I don't know what the loyalty they have, what it is. But some people just go not leave for whatever reason. I don't know. But we do have to let them know that by leaving, I feel like the biggest thing is that leaving the party does not mean loyalty to Trump.
Exactly. I got to tell you, I left the Democrat Party in 2016. And that the two choices at the time, I was living in Decatur, Georgia, I remember. It was Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I did cast a vote for Hillary. I was tasked with the lady who called the super predator and the man that, I felt at the time, got to put it on myself too, because I was my own person. I had my own mindset, right? And so I kind of was like, oh, children in cages thing, not realizing it was Obama. I did have the feeling that Black Americans were sort of jumping on board for the Hispanics when I didn't feel that it was warranted. However, I still viewed him in a different light. Republican, bad, oh my God, white tea, racist, you know what I'm saying? So I did cast a vote for Hillary. But the next election, I was rooting for Marianne Williamson, right? She didn't pass, but she was the only one that I liked who was speaking reparations. I didn't want Warren, the fake $5, and I didn't want her. Bernie, I don't know. I think, did he walk back reparations at that time? Something about Bernie I didn't like. But Marianne Wood, maybe because he didn't mention reparations. I didn't hear him mention reparations. But once Marianne Williamson lost, I was like, you know what? I ain't interested in Kamala, and I ain't interested in Biden. So I sat that one out, y'all. I think I lied to some people that I wanted, but I did. I literally did. Because my friends was really like, if you don't vote, you shouldn't complain. I was like, that's like telling somebody who's on, I don't know. I likened it to like social services or some shit. Like, I pay my taxes and you're going to tell me I can't go get welfare or something. Like, I just labeled it to something they thought was so dumb, but it sounded so good to me at the time. I forgot what it was. But now I'm like, loud about it. I'm not gonna fight with you over who you vote for, but at the same time, don't talk to me, especially if you're an immigrant, about who I vote for the simple fact that I researched the Reconstruction era and I also did my genealogy. Come to find out, an ancestor, her name is Caroline. She's my fifth great granny out in South Carolina. She was mentioned as living in Hamburg, South Carolina at one time. And I said, that's weird. What is Hamburg? I know Hamburg, I think, is in Germany. So I researched what is Hamburg. Hamburg is now a ghost town renamed, I believe, to North Augusta. And there they had an all-black militia. And because they told two white tea farmers, you can't cross pass here, we are doing training exercises. They had it wasn't a scuffle, they didn't mention a scuffle, but some words were exchanged. They went to the, file a complaint on the militia. And the judge warned the militia, listen, you're about to be ambushed or whatever, because the judge was also black. So it was a predominantly black town. And it was a thriving town. They had a black militia. They were primarily Republican. Y'all can't tell me nothing. Okay? So I'm a non-party voter, but I'm a vote Republican. I'll vote working families. And hell, if we got a president a Democrat that was definitely American first, I still wouldn't vote for him because I wouldn't believe him anyway. he got to be his second or third term before I vote for them. But I'm just saying, we do not have to stay stuck to the Democrat Party. Our ancestors, if you do your research and you're able to see how they voted or who they aligned with, you might find out many of them were Republicans. So, and I don't like immigrants telling me how to vote when their ancestors weren't put on trees with the N-word saying, this N-word voted. If you don't have that history attached to your lineage, you shouldn't tell a black American anything about voting. Y'all ain't fight for nothing, but y'all benefited from everything, even the way we vote. And that too gotta change. I'ma land there because I'll keep y'all here all day, right? So, I think that our elders, because she was an elder, it's okay to leave the Democrat Party. It's okay. You come into the bosom of the non-party voter where we vote policy over party loyalty. And I pray we'll get somewhere with that strategy. Oh, on my prompt afro, it says ballot or the bullet. Malcolm X said we need to be politically strategic when he was talking about the ballot or the bullet, right? So I do say we take what worked from our great elders, ancestors, and leaders of certain times, apply it to our current times, but leave behind what no longer serves today's purpose. So for me, ballot or the bullet looks like, says i.e., are we going to do sit it out tactic, vote by mail ballot, or go to the polling site? My answer, right? Sitting it out is okay for the president. I feel you. But if we want Yvette Clarke, AOC, who are two problematic Democrats out of office, the seats are up for re-election. Sitting it out is not an option. And I don't like polling sites, but I know I can vote by early mail ballot. I'm voting by mail. So that covers everybody, everything. What you say about that? And then I'll really let you go, Afro.
Yeah, we do have to be strategic. You know what I'm saying? We can't make every play every time. There are some people that, sometimes in cases of sitting it out and the reason why we're sitting it out, more importantly, is not just to make sure that, our vote doesn't get taken for granted. I feel like sitting it out, especially last election, the biggest thing was to make a stance and to show how serious we are. And now we're being taken more serious than we've ever been taken before. So that was the benefit of that. Now, as far as getting certain people out, I hate to say we have to go with the lesser of two evils, because people have always used that play. Well, you got to go with the lesser of two evils. No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't go with the lesser of two evils, and we shouldn't compromise on that. That being said, we do have to realize that as of right now, we're probably not going to get the perfect politician. So I think it's ill-advised to say we should completely abandon the political process until the absolute perfect politician comes along. Sometimes we do have to take an okay option. If that means getting rid of a better option. Sometimes it's about, instead of making the goal, is just getting closer to the finish line, if you know what I mean. So in chess, that kind of might mean I'm moving this piece, and it might not mean a checkmate, but I'm moving this piece to get rid of this other piece to set up another play, you know. So politics is like that. So when it comes to, if they're very, very problematic people, and if you have somebody, like for instance Brandon Johnson, I will give an example. Brandon Johnson, I'm definitely making sure Brandon Johnson gets out. I don't see how anybody who can run could be worse than Brandon Johnson. I'm gonna just make sure I'm not gonna blindly get somebody worse than that. Because for instance, we didn't think it could get worse than Lori Lightfoot, but boy, were we wrong. Brandon is a lot worse than Lori Lightfoot. So we got to make sure the option isn't worse. But to be honest, if it's any better, we might just have to, make that move to get ourselves in a better position.
I'm with you, because I got to tell you, I get the feeling Mandani, who I call Mandani, might just be like Mayor Brandon Johnson. So I do wish you, Miss Jackson, Danny, and everybody else with, what are they, Chicago Flips Red? Yes. The best of luck. I'm rooting for you, spreading the word about you, directing everybody to your panel. So they can hear the news first from you and what Chicago is going through over there. With the property tax thing, have y'all been able to get a hold on that? Have y'all been able to get attention on that? Because as far as I know, only Black residents were taxed at such a high rate, correct?
Yeah. Well, residents on pretty much only Black residents, because they were residents on the Black sides and the Black zip codes and everything. So yeah, they weren't specific to Black people. So you had a couple of Hispanic communities get hit too, but they were pretty much in the Black areas of Chicago. And there were property increases, but when it comes to the property increase or the tax increases, when it comes, the Black communities got hit way harder. At a crazy disproportionate rate. Some were like 80% higher, 100% higher, 120% higher, while the white communities, they were all like 15% higher,
Wow. Can you tell us what's going on with your reparations hearings? And I promise I'll try to make that the last question.
There was supposed to be public hearings last month, but I don't know what happened with that.
Right.
So I guess there was some type of issue or something like that occurred, but the public hearings are supposed to be starting. They were supposed to have started last month, and they just didn't. So I don't know when they're about to start. I gotta find that out. But they are supposed to be rolling out public hearings. For kind of the same way they've done in California and in New York.
And the Black American House is in Atlanta, and he said same here in Atlanta, and they didn't even have a link for Zoom either. So we could do another check-in on everybody's reparations hearings just to keep the family outside the community informed. So in case anybody wants to step up to the plate to help in any way they can. And we don't have to be in the same city, state, town, county to help another foundational Black American out. Like I told you, California came to the reparations hearings
and sort of spoke on lineage only and told New York they were doing it wrong, and I appreciate them for that. To all the people outside of New York State who said, New York, are we saving New York? How can we help you save New York? I appreciate you all. Afro, of course, I appreciate you allowing me to come up on there and vent about the state of New York, because I was trying to drag somebody by the eyebrows the other day for talking about New York. I'm just really frustrated. So of course, you're always welcome on my platform, and also tomorrow. But what do you say in a month we get together and just give the state? We'll have a state of Black America. Is there a show like that already? I want to say State of the Union for Black America. How that sound to you?
Yeah, that's
Afro?
cool. A lot of people
That's
have
off
been
the
saying
top
we
of my
need
head.
that too, and I do think we do need that. We do need the people who are active in the community to kind of give their stance on what needs to be done, because a lot of people want to get active and people don't know what to do.
Right.
And the people who are active, they don't want to sit up there and announce everything to the public. So I think it's good for us to, do that and then kind of bounce off ideas and all that stuff and see what we can do to be of assistance.
Okay, cool. So mid-April, I think that would be good. Yeah, that should be good. I'm just set it tentatively for mid-April, usually April 15th, but we'll get in the back chat and discuss that, Afro. And with that said, I really, truly appreciate and love you, Afro Lee, for everything that you do for not only me, but for the community.
Well, thank you. Love you too. Appreciate that. I appreciate all of the help too.
What time are you going live today?
I wanna go live. It's about 10 o'clock. I want to go live around 2, to be honest with you.
Okay.
2 my time, so that'd be 3 your time.
Okay, I'll set an alarm, because sometimes I'll be sitting right here and fall right asleep. I am learning how to wean myself off. So if you see me fully in your chat on YouTube, I'm taking a break from TikTok, and I totally enjoy my time there because it's less a stress on me. Miss Nisi, she got it. Angelise, is that how I pronounce her name? And Donna, they got it.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm checking my email.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. All right, let me let you go because I know you're busy. You're super busy. I'm going to say peace, love, light, and reparations to my foundational Black Americans and anybody of the lineage who can identify as such. I love us for real. Shout out again to the panelists who came out. Shout out to you, to Afro, for taking time out of your day to come and sit with us and discuss the State of the Union of Black America.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Me too. All right, we're going to trademark it. We reserve all rights to that, okay, y'all? If you use it, please credit us. And I love y'all for real. Peace, everybody. Be one family.
First.
Yeah.
But she's the best, yeah, she's the best. From ancient tales to modern schemes, unraveling truths and chasing dreams.